Why can't I hear them? Why can't I hear them? Let's go, YouTube.
Just a second. All right. Yeah, for its own moment. Just can't hear Janet and Leonka, huh?
Right. And same as system.
Yay!
Yay!
Hi!
Hello!
All the fun from being live, right?
Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
So I'm trying to get all fancy with some podcast like audio. And so I keep trying. And so we tested everything for the last hour. I had everything set up. And then I had that screen share. And then it was like, nobody heard us. And next thing I know, which isn't a big deal, but the only problem was I was unmuted. But when nobody heard us, I like ripped everything out so that everyone could hear us. And then I had to go back in Zoom and change all the settings. And oh, technology, which is my friend and sometimes not.
Oh, I hear you. Oh, I'm right there with you. Uh-huh.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mhm.
Let me go ahead and start the recording and we will get going. Here we go. Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jenna Blackert, and this is
I'm Bianca Reyna.
And there she is. And this is the Hot Hustle Show. Today we're joined with Kourtney Levens, who is going to guide us with angels. And we're going to have a conversation about truly becoming one with your angels. And from what I know about Kourtney and all the cute little feedback that I've gotten is she's quite the angel herself, that she doesn't just channel or guide you with angels, but she actually is angels. And I've also heard quite the thing where you've actually helped people connect to their own angels who now channel too. So welcome. I'm so excited to have you on today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here, and I love that you're in Texas. Yes, I'm in Texas, and just you sound like me. It sounds great.
And we have a lot of people joining us from Central Texas as well. So, yeah, I'd love to, we can get in there.
Yeehaw, y'all.
I love it. Right now we've got South by Southwest going on. So lots of people descending on the area, lots of good energies, and just, people from all over. Maybe we just kind of like, send that good love out to the world and hopefully have a great conversation with you today.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah. She does have a little more of that Texas twang, though.
And y'all will slip out of my mouth.
All the time.
Kourtney, I guess let's, we had a pre-call, and the minute I got on the phone with you, I felt like you were my best friend. You just had that connection, that warmth, and it was just so beautiful. And it just is, it's so nice sometimes to just meet up with somebody and just go, oh, I just want to hug you. You're just so beautiful. So with that said, let's, don't know your background, and I don't know how you started channeling. And so I would like to go on that journey with you. Will you take us through kind of the steps that brought you to where you are today?
Y'all are not, I mean, I'm glad you're sitting down because I grew up in the motorcycle industry.
Okay.
My parents have a motorcycle, four-wheeler, watercraft, side-by-side business that now my sister owns. And so I grew up in that family business from the time I was 3. Rode a motorcycle before I rode a bicycle. So swinging that pendulum from ego testosterone racing, which don't get me wrong, I still love racing, all the way over to
Sure.
happy fluffy clouds like, angels,
Did the
extremely difficult for my dad. But growing up in the family business, I worked with my parents and my sister, and we were best friends, right? My mom got sick with cancer and was not supposed to die. That's my ration, right? She wasn't supposed to die. And when she died, it devastated me. And things started happening. Right before she was diagnosed, I started, stay with me on this, started hearing voices. I'd be lying in my bed at night and I would hear this beautiful music. And I'm not very musically inclined, right? I like the radio, and my parents played instruments growing up, but I could tell if it was a piano or a guitar. But when I started listening to this music, I couldn't make out the instruments, and it was very, not to sound cliche, but celestial. And so I would try to listen to it and it would disappear.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And I would tell my parents, I was like, I hear music at night. And so my dad,
No.
left brain, said, well, turn off the radio, right? And it continued. One night I was in bed and I was reading, and I always read, like self-help books and spiritual books. And I'm reading, and my neighbors were having a party outside. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're having a party. They know I'm single, right? And how could they not invite me? And it was so loud. I knew that there were going to be cars just not on the cul-de-sac, but up and down the streets. I was sure people were standing in my yard.
Yeah.
I could hear these conversations plain as day. So I creeped over to the window and pulled back the blinds, and there was nobody there. And that's when I said, that's it. I'm absolutely losing my mind. And I promise you, if you're a girl in Houston and you tell a doctor you're hearing voices, they will make it stop. I went to several doctors and had multiple diagnoses.
Wow.
And tons of drugs, walking zombie. But it did. It made the music, which was actually very beautiful, stop. The voices, the chatter stop. Now, let me disclaimer here. the voices never told me anything negative. This was not go do something bad or harmful. It was just overhearing conversations like if you were outside a party, right? Never felt scared or anything like that. Then after mom passed, it was really, really stressing me out not being able to talk to her. So I decided I want to talk to mom. And I quit my job, which I do not recommend to people. Okay, don't quit your job before you have another one lined up, right? Went to Hawaii, said I'm going to take this course to be a reader because I always thought that was so cool. And I thought, and I can talk to mom.
Yeah.
So I flew to Hawaii, and in this class, there were all these girls who would sit around and they were like, oh, you have this beautiful aura. And I was like, I see nothing. I mean, black. I closed my eyes, I saw black. And they were like, oh, and it's this and it's this. And I was like, you know, but I paid so much money for this course. I was not going to fly back to Houston. So I stuck it out. Well, being the genius that I was and quitting my job, I got home and I was not going to go back tail between my legs to dad and say, can I please have my job back? So I dang near starved, literally no money. All my money went toward the mortgage in the car. And I started doing readings. And it was literally sink or swim, do or die.
Yes.
It was because of that I couldn't just quit, right? So that is how I got started doing readings, and it progressed. And I will tell you, it wasn't a near-death experience and all of a sudden seeing full-body apparitions. Okay, this was out of necessity.
Yeah.
It was a like I believe everybody can sing, right? I mean, some better than others. I'm really great in my car with nobody else in the car, but this is the same thing. This is a natural skill you are born with. This is innate within you, and it can be taught and it can be polished and expounded on, and you be able to have full-on conversations with your angels and guides and spirit. And so that was really how it got started.
Wow, that's crazy. Oh my gosh. Wow.
that's
It's funny
fascinating.
because I actually, and I think that this is just my brain that continues, but I'll listen to something that has binaural beats and it'll be taught, sometimes there's a meditation with a guided meditation or something. And then afterwards, it'll be done and maybe it'll be done for hours and I'll just hear kind of that binaural beat kind of rhythm. And, I always was just, I don't know if that's just my brain doing that kind of thing or if that actually is, because it's beautiful music and it just kind of has me being in this realm of the universe. So that's interesting. I've never heard somebody that just is like, oh my gosh, I hear music and a party. That's wild.
It was crazy. And so I thought I was crazy because this wasn't something that we talked about.
Yeah.
I grew up, my mom was a Sunday school teacher. So I grew up with religion, from the South, right? Baptist.
Yes.
The whole thing of communication, that was not something discussed. Looking back on it, I can tell you exactly what it was all of my angels coming in to prepare me for the passing of my mom.
Yeah.
I know it very clearly now. And I'm very pleased to say that I did, I don't know, was this my rebellious stage? I stood up to Big Pharma and went, I'm not going to take all these medications. Now, again, disclaimer, okay?
Right.
I've gone back to the 3 different psychiatrists who diagnosed me as bipolar, and they all said, we've never heard of like spontaneous healing, but you don't have any symptoms. It seems you were misdiagnosed. And then they look back and they go, well, I was the one who diagnosed you and I made a mistake, which, that's very difficult for them to say, but
Yes.
it is part of what goes on. And it's my belief that, everything is energy. So we can pick up on bad juju.
Yes.
Right. And it can stick to us.
Mm-hmm.
That can make our personalities swing from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. Plus, come on, we get kind of inundated with our own what's going on in our life, our kids, our step parents, or whatever. That weighs on us, and that energy sticks with us. So it can also alter your mood But I will say that some of the techniques I learned from my angels and guides regarding clearing ourselves, grounding, shielding, things that y'all heard, was extremely instrumental in getting rid of that energy that didn't belong to me. It allowed me to get back to myself. And there are times that when I get ready to go to bed at night, I'll be lying in bed and I start to hear the voices. And I go, oh, wait, hang on. If y'all want to talk to me, it's great. I'm fine. But we have to go back to my hours of operation.
We talked about that earlier in the
we
show.
Yeah.
I've got to get some sleep tonight. I mean, especially when I had a newborn baby, you know, being awake all night. I was like, oh, no. We can't play tonight. Yeah, so it's become much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say controllable, but I do turn it on and off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk
Well,
a little
that's-
bit about that? We talked about it. Jeanette said basically changed my life by sharing that with me because I too thought I was kind of crazy. And she said, "Oh no, you have to give them hours
of operation.
And
Yeah.
at this time, this is about 12 years ago, and I was like, I didn't even know what I was, what I was dealing with or, experiencing it truthfully, at the time. So I'm really grateful to have found, Jonathan, now, you're going to speak about this work. What exactly, how do you feel about that, or what are your thoughts? Where do you want to?
Last part it cut out. Say,
How do you really set up the hours
Yeah,
of operation? Do you want to talk about that so everyone else is enlightened on that?
Sure. We grew up with Ouija boards. Gosh, I probably shouldn't say that too loudly. But, and you think about it, a Ouija board probably isn't inherently bad, right? But we didn't start off with a prayer or any kind of protection.
Good.
It's one of the first things I teach to my students and to my clients are what I call the rules of engagement. And it is the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Who are you communicating with? And you want to be safe, and you want to know that they're benevolent beings. I didn't want to mess with any earthbound spirits. So I literally wrote it out, and I had all of my students do this. You're gonna write, who are you talking with? Because I am straight up, I'm not going to mess with anything that's even borderline bad juju, right? I'm only going to the highest light, the highest source. And so I wrote that down. And I said, please don't wake me up in the middle of the night and scare me with full-bodied apparitions. That would unnerve me. When I started having kids, I said, I had to make it very, very clear. You cannot wake up my kids. My 6-week-old baby or 6-month-old baby was not sleeping through the night. I went into a room and I just sat there in the corner, and about 30-40 minutes into it, she started crossing souls over. And I was like, oh, no. Y'all can save this for when she's older, but no, that's my rule. You can't wake up my kids. Don't, don't flip the lights. And so it wasn't just my rules of engagement with my angels and guides, but also I discovered I had mediumship abilities. And I said, oh no, I'm not going to be the crazy lady running around town saying I have a message for you. So you make those people find me and say, hey, message, right? But really putting that in writing for my certified readers, they'll even come in to a point in their career where they say, you know what? I don't want clients who want to come and talk to me about politics. Let's just not be in alignment or call in clients who are going to ask me about something like this, right? And so those rules, those boundaries, hey, can y'all talk louder? Hey, don't wake me up in the night. That has been extremely instrumental. I have gotten to the point now that I will say, okay, if the message is for me or my family, you may come to me during the day when I'm taking the kids to school or picking them up in the car ride or line or just things like that. And I will have those random thoughts that I know are from on high come in and give me that confirmation, the validation of what I was thinking earlier. But really being able to say, we're not playing right now. And that's you're right.
I just learned so much right now.
I feel like, yeah, that was beautifully said. Do we just kind of want to open up the line and bring on some callers for you to work with? Or I
Love-
feel like that might be the best way to
I like
play
that.
with this group, don't you think? Just kind
Absolutely.
of
I'm ready.
experience it. Okay. How would be the best way to ask callers to start asking you a question?
I need their first name. We give a lot of power to a name.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
whether it's, your first name, your birth name, your nickname, that will pull in different angels and guides, believe it or not. So the name that you go by daily, if it's a nickname or your real name, doesn't matter. I will ask for that. Your geographic location, and that's not for anything except to help me when I pinpoint the energy, I can go straight to where you are and it's just faster.
Mhm.
And your age. A lot of times they'll tell me your age before you even give it to me, but other times they'll tell me another age that was a pivotal point in your life.
Cool.
A lot of times when people begin their spiritual awakening, I'll get that number or,
So
hey,
do you want their age or not?
current age. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Leonka, you want to go first? Just
Sure,
have her and
sure.
are they quick, Kourtney, that we can just kind of
Yeah. I could do it like 2 minutes if that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds
cool.
fine.
Yeah, we've got some queuing up in the chat as well. So let's go ahead and why don't you go first, Leonka?
Okay. So I'm Bianca, and my age is 45, and I'm here in Austin, Texas.
Okay. One of the first things that comes through is your right brain, your creativity, your artistic ability is really, really expansive, really off the charts. They're telling me that it's not that you're always happy-go-lucky, although you try to be, but you are a person who is very, very resilient and you bounce back from any dips. You're pretty good at holding your light. Does that make sense? Does that sound
Yes, that's dead on.
okay? They're talking a little bit about Austin for you. Maybe it didn't always feel like home, but you're really getting into the groove of things,
Yes.
really starting to have some roots, and that it feels more like home now. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, because I had moved to Oregon for like 5 years, and I'm from Austin, Texas, but being there, really, really loved being. I was like, I really love Austin. I can't wait to be back. So yes.
Okay. What question would you like to ask your angels?
Oh, so I walked away from corporate America. I was in radio and television for a long time. And, that comes with a regular job and paycheck. And of course I'm doing this work now and I love it. And I had always had it on, I've always done this work, but I'd always have it on the back burner. And so now it has my full focus. What are some messages around that and maybe about having a lot more courage, and, how can I be more open to really working with spirits so that way I can make sure that I'm putting forth the best, speakers here, and really supporting the people that are coming to join us.
Love it. Archangel Michael is coming in for you, and Michael is
It's like, wow, just entered this whole space in between us.
he's the one who watches over our personal safety as well as our financial security. You'll see him in the paintings with the sword, right? He's like our BFF. One of the things he's talking about is your risk tolerance and you being able to say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take that risk and not worry so much about if there's failure. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. The other thing he's talking about is you are a high achiever and you are destined to be a high achiever and continue to be a high achiever. But there is almost a fear around making a mistake or doing something wrong. Is that accurate? Is that true?
Yes, dead on. I was raised by my grandparents, so I made straight A's. I have always been that way. So always like very, very studious, very, hey guys, let's go get this done. Kind of motivator, cheerleader for people. But I also had a lot of attachment to doing well in those ways that are more graded, if you will, even at work.
Sure. So his big message to you is release that fear. And you can do it by even saying, okay, fear, where are we going? Like my 6-year-old says, zip it, lock it, put it in your pocket, and move forward. So get rid of the fear, because it'll show up as procrastination.
Oh,
And saying you're not necessarily a procrastinator, but more distraction. Does that make sense?
yes.
So fear, tell it where to go. Allow yourself to take risks, especially even with some of the guests you have on the podcast. Some of the advertising methods. Hold on. Do you mind if I look into this for a second?
Yes.
Okay. There's something. This may be something you learned in Oregon, because they're taking me over to the West Coast of the US.
Uh-huh.
So some kind of methodology or strategy. They're just, that energy keeps going over there, possibly even someone you worked with. They're encouraging you to do that and to spread out, to use your contacts, to use that to help boost this.
Okay.
You're really good at asking for things like, hey, what's been your best way to do this? And that's one of your strengths.
Uh-huh.
But also the biggest thing is release the fear around taking risks so that you can move forward.
Okay. Okay. I'm all in.
I love it.
Yes.
Wow.
And you have a great team around you, here and here.
I know. Thank you. I'm really getting that now. And thank them. I thank them.
Gratitude sent back.
Yes. And do we want to take some colors now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Kourtney.
And let's take some from the chat too. Well, let's take Joe, because he's a new lounge member. If you are in the lounge, you get first priority. So Joe, you're up. We need your name and where you're from and your age.
First name is Joe. I'm from Cole, Texas, and Kourtney may know where this is at. And age is 70.
Okay. Joe, before you even ask a question, one of the things that they're coming through and saying is your philosophy in life has always been not to be afraid of hard work. Is that true?
True.
Okay. One of the things they're also saying is you're also learning right now that we're not necessarily having to work as hard, because we can call in spirit and guides for that help. They're saying that you've recently had an interaction with that. Is that true?
True.
Awesome.
Head on so far.
Fun.
Amazing. Joe, what question do you want to ask him?
An incident that happened back in 95. I was considered the pedestrian, an auto pedestrian accident. I was pinned between two cars at 65 plus miles an hour. I'm here. Don't do that. I'm here.
Oh, I'm glad you're here. I'm sorry you went through that. It hurts me for you.
The big part of that keeps plaguing me right now is a money issue because of that accident. There was no insurance, so it was all on me. That took away every bit of savings I had, so now I'm living on nothing but Social Security. What do I do to totally resolve that?
Okay.
I've worked on it, and I'm not having any success.
Okay. One of the things that I go into is, do you believe in other lifetimes?
Absolutely.
Okay. I just want to be respectful of that, because when I go into it, it's not just this lifetime. It goes to another lifetime where you've got some vows, oaths, promises, commitments in other lifetimes that would need to be fulfilled and released. If you and I were to get on a call and have a session, we could go through and do that clearing for you. It takes a little bit. But that releasing those vows to poverty, to suffering, to struggle is going to be huge for you. One of the things that you can start doing right now is to start daydreaming. I love this because Archangel Jophiel, who is like the angel of beauty, she comes in on this, and Archangel Shamuel, who is the angel of finding. You're looking for your car keys or cell phone or glasses or your soul purpose or your soul mate. Shamuel is the angel I like to call on. And these two are coming in right now, and they're talking about you getting into a space of daydreaming. Wouldn't it be nice? Now, it's a little bit different than if you see somebody in a Mercedes and you go, oh, it must be nice. No, this is, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if, okay? And I can see you've got some land. When I look around you, I can see your house up here, but I can see that there's a lot of land. They're going through and they're talking about practicing who you're going to become, who you are becoming. So one of the things, if you walk up to your house and you throw your Coke can or your water bottle on the ground, know that you are practicing becoming someone who doesn't care. So as you live your life, being very conscious of what you're practicing, how are you living your life? Are you practicing a life of the good walk and the good talk? Those things. Are you caring about not just yourself, how you look, how you feel, your mental health, emotional health, intellectual health, even your spiritual health, but also physically, you, your body, your surroundings. When I go into finances in particular, I'm not seeing like we're going to have a buried treasure chest, but I am seeing incremental increases in money with these changes in you. And you're the one who has free will. So it's going to be work on your part. But by daydreaming, that's going to start putting that energy into flow.
Interesting.
Is that helpful?
Wow. How interesting. Thank you, Kourtney.
Thank
You're
you
so welcome.
much. Okay, and Kim, you're up next. And then we'll take somebody from the chat.
Bruce Kim.
So
Kim,
ask to unmute.
ask unmute. Kim, are you there?
Am I unmuted?
Yes.
There I am. Okay. So my name is Kimberly Schwent. I'm 47 and I live in Semmes, Alabama.
Okay, I love your energy. I got to tell you, as soon as I wrote down your name, it's kind of like automatic writing, but a lot of energy comes through. You are a leader. You are optimistic. You look for the good in everything. Right now is a gateway time in your life. Think about the numerology of 47. It comes to an 11. 11 is about intuition. It's considered a master number, but know that it's also considered a gateway number. So this is when the gates are open for you this year. And really financially, they're talking about you and your creative talents. You've got an entrepreneurial spirit. It looks like you're juggling kids right now. It also looks like you're putting one in a car seat. Is that accurate? How old is your daughter?
No, I don't. I have actually my dogs. Like I have dogs and they're kind of my kids. But I have two sons, but they're raised. Like they're grown, like 22 and 30. So
So this is, I see you putting them like in the back seat in a harness kind of thing. So your dogs. Okay, what are you, well, I could go into that forever. Tell me what your question is, because I want to know about this entrepreneurial spirit you've got.
so that's kind of my question is like, am I on the right path? And what's blocking me from moving forward? Because I feel like I'm a little bit of overwhelm and I'm just like, what's stopping me? Like, why do I keep stopping?
You have such ambition, drive, determination. I mean, you are motivated. You don't take no for an answer. If I could offer a thought of speaking to someone who's a professional, maybe even a business coach, that's going to help you because you're going to be able to talk out a lot of your ideas. So right now, when I go into all this energy up here, overwhelm, right? The thinking, the creative energies that come through, being able to talk with somebody, whether it's the Small Business Administration, they have free counseling with people who are, business owners and entrepreneurs who will help you with a business plan and stuff. You've got so many ideas and it's kind of overwhelming your skill set. So being able to talk it out is going to be huge for you. Are you on the right path? Archangel Michael is talking about, you've got this one line that you're focusing on, but you've got some other segues that are trying to get in the way. Really hone it in and concentrate on this first one. It doesn't have to be a 10. It doesn't have to be perfect. But when you get this going at about a 6 or a 7, then you can bring in these other options, opportunities. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does. Yeah, thank you.
Is that helpful?
You're very helpful. Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Cam. All right, and we are going to take somebody from the chat.
Yeah. So Christina has a question. Christina wrote in, she says, I've had several pneumonias. What is that related to? But she didn't put
Her
where
name.
she's from and her age. So Christina, if you could put where you're from and your age, that would be great. So we'll move to the next one. I have Katie from Florida, who is 80, and she said she wants some help with finances and health.
Florida.
There's a bunch.
I only get that one part because
Okay, so Katie, one of the first things they're telling me when it comes to the finances, you've got Archangel Gabriel coming through on this, which is really interesting. Gabriel is the archangel over artists, communicators, dancers, singers, anything right brain. So a lot of Lianka, okay? That energy is coming through on this. So Gabriel is here to also help you overcome any fear you have about moving forward on your spiritual path. So asking Archangel Gabriel to give you that motivation to move forward is going to help open you up, because right now when I see you energetically, you are hitting up against this energetic barrier when it comes to money. It's putting you in a lack mentality. One of the things you can do, and this is something small, is to start giving. This does not mean you don't give right now, okay? Don't misunderstand me. But when we give cheerfully, we receive cheerfully. By breaking through that energetic barrier. Now, whether this is grandkids, now if it's grandkids and you don't think they deserve it, don't give it to them, okay? But if you see an animal shelter and that tugs at your heartstrings, go into that heart space and where you felt drawn to give, and give cheerfully. It can be $1, it can be $5. Also, go through your house. You've got a lot of glass, is what they're saying, which is kind of funny to me because I don't know that I've ever seen that. So maybe vases or dishes, they're just saying glass. Donate this. Go give it to Goodwill, Salvation Army, whatever. That's going to invoke the law of giving and receiving. That's going to start allowing that energy to flow. And right now, it's all about the energy flowing, because December, January, even February, finances were really, really tight, and that energy was very, very constricted. But March, we're opening up. We're moving out of that lack mentality. We're moving into this more of a safety, like, yes, I am the creator of my destiny. So know that when you invoke that law, that's really going to help. And on your health, you've got a lot coming in the chest and even the abdomen. Get outside more. Get grounded, barefoot in the grass, but start taking some really deep breaths and movement, stretching, Pilates, yoga, that kind of stuff is going to be beneficial overall. Okay.
That's fabulous. Okay. Let's go to Andrew's iPhone.
Love it.
All right. Andrew,
Sorry,
there you go.
sorry, I was having trouble unmuting. Yes, so my name is Andrew. I live in Houston, Texas, and I'm 63 years old. And my question is, am I on the right path? I have a strong desire to really break into the art area ever since I was a child, but a lot of circumstances, I never believed in myself. I didn't have confidence, and that has slowly changed over the last almost 8 years now. And so I just want to, I guess, confirmation and assurance that I'm not wasting my time and I'm not putting out money on wasted, things.
Okay. I love the energy that's coming through for you. You've got quite a crew of angelic beings here to help you. Know that, number one, this is not a waste of time. Number two, this is something that you have been putting off. It's been in your heart forever, right? And like you said, even since childhood. And now having the courage to come forth and move into it, it is not a waste of time. This is when you will be closest to God. And if I can offer a little, this is what I tell some of my clients who are my mentoring clients, who I almost coach a little bit with the spiritual guidance, is think about when you want to give up, when it seems like it's too hard, when it's not going well, think about Jesus. Remember that he was, and not necessarily in a religious way, right? But think about Jesus. He was told by everybody, they're going to kill you. They're going to crucify you. Go home, hide out, quit going out there, quit talking about these healings, quit saying you're the Son of God, right? Everything, tell him no. But did he go sit on the couch and eat bonbons? No, right? He kept going out there. He kept doing. He knew what he was being called to do. It's in his heart, right? God's not going to put that in your heart unless that's what you're meant to do. So know that this is helping you to overcome that fear of procrastination to move forward on your path and really embrace this. Know that anytime there is a setback, we receive information, we get feedback, it's knowledge, and that knowledge is power and helps us to continue moving forward. So no, absolutely you are on the right path. This is not a waste of time. And they're saying that you're even dabbling into different things. So the painting and drawing may also go over into going to ballets and plays, and really give yourself that support and allow yourself to do it.
Hey, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Kourtney, real quick, I just want to make a point because when you were talking right now, some of that stuff was really landing for me, and wouldn't you say it's true that the questions here today are also facilitated for the greater good for everyone on the line? Talk a little bit about how that works.
So it's no coincidence.
That's
that
right.
The people who are on this call today, we're all aligned, right? There's going to be I don't want to say commonality, not to make us all just mediocre, but know that we all have similar energies. And whether it's been at the back of our mind or the forefront of our thoughts, know that that is going to resonate with us, and that's going to pull in whoever is aligned with these messages. And collectively, as that energy comes closer together, whether it's a Zoom call or in a town, those collective thoughts that are along the same entrainment are going to rise. So it's good, especially if you've got like-minded people who are all about looking at the positive aspects of things. That energy rises, but you've also got, you can go into a place where it's hostile. You've heard of mob mentality, right? That energy starts to rise. So we are divinely inspired to come to these meetings or to come to these calls because there's that thread of energy that we all hold in common, right? And yeah, finances right now, especially coming off of January, we're starting to see the opening up in March. But yeah, it's something that's going to hit home for a lot of people because collectively, we all come from God, right? We're all part of that divine spark. So collectively, we're all going to have some thread of that in us, unless we've already learned the lesson, overcome it, and we're able to drop it, right?
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. That was beautiful. Do you want to take another one from the feed?
Yeah. Let's see. Actually, we'll do another live one.
Okay. All right, Kat, you're up.
Hi, I didn't think I was going to get picked. Thank you. I've had a reading with Kourtney before, so I'm still kind of, from what we talked about last time, a little still concerned about how, I mean, not to bring down our call, but like I had that feeling where I feel like I'm being spied upon in my apartment. And right now I'm not there because I don't feel safe and comfortable there. And I'm trying to figure out how to, I guess pack up my things and go kind of thing. Because I'm concerned, like, should I be calling the police because that's how I feel, or I should just go in and just pack up my stuff and just leave and not do that.
Kat, and I apologize because I don't recall my
Yeah.
readings. They're not my thoughts, right?
Yeah.
But normally when something like this happens, Jonathan Leonka, if someone has this kind of feeling, one of the first things the angels will encourage them to do is to start clearing. When I was in motorcycles, I would feel the excitement of the guys walking in wanting a 200-mile-an-hour motorcycle, and I would get so pumped, not even knowing why, right? But it's energy. We can feel it.
Yeah.
And then in 10 seconds, boom, I was furious, mad. No clue why, right? Hence the bipolar diagnoses.
Mhm.
It's their mom, their sister, their girlfriend walking in behind them going, don't you dare get that bike. I will kill you, right? So I'm
Yeah.
picking up on that.
Yeah.
When that happens, it sticks to us. And then we have the mood swings and everything. So one of the things that when I see something like this with Kat and the angels bring through this energy, letting me know these are not your thoughts. This is not your energy, Kat. So
Okay.
usually what they do is they recommend clearing, serious clearing. Get to the ocean because the salt water cleanses our aura just instantly, right? But
Okay.
we also release what is no longer serving us and what doesn't belong to us. And you're going to drop a lot of that. Now, here's the caveat to that. So, Kat, you go, that's it. I'm clearing. I'm getting rid of all this, energetic crap on me.
Mhm.
And so you go and you clear. If we walk back into the same environment every day and our shield, our invisible force field, if you will, is not strong enough, guess what? It comes back on us. So
Okay.
moving, sure, that's a viable option for you. But when you move, make sure you are leaving all of that energy behind, sending it up to the light. Even they're even talking about having someone come in and bless your house. And that can take many shapes and forms. So
Mhm.
talk to a professional about that. But this is going to be something that you have got to decide, is this something that I'm willing to hold in? Is this negative energy? Are these toxins? Am I willing to keep them or am I ready to release them? It doesn't mean that you condone what's happened or anything like that, or you've forgotten it, but know that that fear will breathe, right? And it's one of the things we see with people who are shut-ins. They will actually almost become like telekinesis, right? Objects moving, because that energy builds. And when that energy builds, you can start to move that energy yourself, right? If you are in a state of fear, you build that fear exponentially. So the clearing, the shielding is going to be imperative for you, and making sure that also, come on, let's be frank, the EMFs, electromagnetic fields around us, are causing horrible reactions and paranoia, because those energy lines are all over us, right? They've done studies before. You can walk into a house that's next to a transformer, power line, anything like that, and even somebody who's a doctor who doesn't believe in woo-woo stuff says, somebody's watching me. Now, Kat, I'm not saying that's what's going on with you, okay?
Mhm.
Please don't misunderstand. But get away from the electricity lines. Get the Himalayan salt lamps. That's going to help quell those EMFs. They have so many different devices. With the Harmony pendant, get that. That's going to help keep that 5G off of you. And Kat, you're a lover of crystals. We've got to get those away from your cell phone, your alarm clock, your TVs, because it's amplifying those EMFs too. Okay, baby?
Okay. How do
What, can I ask
uh,
a question about this? Is that okay?
Sure.
It seems, what about saging or smudging the house? Could that be something? And I think what came through with me is this an entity within her home that's, causing this? And
She says she's in an apartment, correct?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, you're picking up on a lot of stuff,
well,
a lot of people's stuff.
possibly
Yeah.
it could
She's
not
got,
be the-
and here's the thing, because Kat is intuitive, she has this beacon,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
radar that says, oh, pick me, pick me. And without those rules of engagement of saying who I'm going to play with, she's got some, I hate the word entity, I'm sorry, bad juju right here. Okay. And it will hide and it will stay there. And you may even go a few days, Kat, and think, oh, I'm good to go. I'm great. But it has to be really, really strong. And you have to be stronger than that. So if you find yourself starting to slip back into even victim mentality, guilt, shame, oh my gosh, it just digs in even deeper.
Mhm.
Saging, smudging, yes, it is beneficial for the physical place. Know that when you do that, you want to call in Archangel Michael and what I call like his band of mercy, his army of protection. to come in and stand at every window, every corner, every door. And I like to call on Shamuel to be on the roof, to put a dome of protection over it. Right now, you are being almost, if you want to say, energetically invaded from so many different points. We've got to get you, not just you protected, but when you go out into the world, get your car in that bubble of energy, that protective energy. And it doesn't have to be white light or purple light. It can be anything, right? Just get that protection on you. And at night or even daily, you've got to keep clearing. But know that those EMFs are wreaking havoc on you. And this is something, and Jonathan, this is something people don't usually talk about, but I've done enough healing work to see this. And Kat, I'm not saying this is you, okay? But like the lady who mentioned she has like chronic pneumonia or these diseases that keep happening over and over again. We have to ask, what is the underlying thought here? Is there a secondary benefit? And again, this is not something consciously that people go, oh, I want to be sick. Because when I was little, mom would come in and stay home from work and she would baby me and fix me soup. Okay. But know that subconsciously it's there. So we have to get to that subconscious thought and be able to rewrite it. And a lot of the healers can do that these days, changing those beliefs so that we say, no, that secondary benefit is not worth it to me. Or, hey, maybe you're a grown adult and mom's not there anymore. Maybe people don't come and tell you how much they love you, but it's a need that we have, right? So our ego, our subconscious can be creating this and manifesting this because of those secondary benefits.
Wow.
Can I just ask one more question? So how is there any kind of ritual that I can do to try to release this, whatever this energy is that's from my old space so that it doesn't follow me?
So yes, and wonderful question. I love this because Archangel Haniel is coming through for you. You might even notice kind of a pale blue color when she's around. Her name is like Grace of God, and she is like the poster child for a job interview. But one of the things that she's saying for you, Kat, is to use the lunar cycles. And I will tell you, I'm not an expert on it by any means. I'm just repeating what she's saying. So on the full moon, release, right? And do that to sage your house. Use that time to sage and smudge your house. Use it to the nighttime clearing meditation. It's available on YouTube, or if you email my office, they can send it to you. But that nighttime clearing meditation, if you don't even like listening to my voice, because I'll tell you, I get sick of it sometimes, just turn down the volume, let it play in the background. It clears your chakras, the energy, the house, the residence. And I had a client who the home was, I don't want to say possessed, but let's just say there was some bad juju there and it was really disruptive. They played that meditation on low for 24 hours. And the entities went away. The negative stuff was gone. Okay.
Okay.
Notes to her, the daughter liked the attention and invited it back in. So again, a secondary benefit that we want to be cautious of, or at least be aware of. But yeah, Kat, you work really, really well with the lunar cycles. So Haniel's the one to call on. You're releasing everything that doesn't belong to you, that doesn't serve you. And give yourself, your body responds well to affirmations they're telling you. So even affirmations of, I am strong, I'm spiritually strong, I am resilient, I'm confident.
Okay. Yeah, I had those up in my apartment.
Kick butt. So know that that's confirmation of what you're already thinking and doing.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And
Thank you. All right, Grace, you're up. Grace.
Hello.
Hi, Grace.
Hi.
You're live.
My name is Grace Learn. I'm 67, and I just want to know if I'm following my path.
Grace, I've got about 3 of you popping up in the energy field right now. Can you tell me where you are geographically so I can pinpoint you?
108 Mile Ranch, BC, Canada.
Okay. On the right path, yeah, 40 to 60%. They're saying that they've been communicating with you. There's something else that you have a desire to do, wanting to do, and you've been holding back on it. Does this make sense to you? They're not showing me what it is.
Yes.
Okay. So, on the level that this resonates, whatever that is that you're holding back and not committing to or following through on or doing, they're really, really supporting you on this, bringing that to the forefront. And they're also talking about speaking your truth on this. When they're saying speaking your truth, it doesn't mean that we're telling somebody where to go and how to get there. Well, at least not always. But this is about you being comfortable and saying, I'm, planting this garden to be sustainable and I'm going to use it for the whole community. But what's been going on in the back of your mind is, I also want to have farm raised chickens or something. And again, they're not showing me what it is. So this is just kind of what's coming through. Give yourself permission to say, and I want chickens, and I'm going to grow and raise chickens. I'm going to farm chickens, and I'm going to have this crop too. So whatever these two things are, be able to speak your truth and say, this is what I want. This is what God has placed in my heart, and I'm ready to fulfill this mission.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome, honey.
And then Christina wrote back in, she was the one that had the several cases of pneumonia, wanted to know what that was related to. She says she is a 57-year-old from Mallorca, in Spain.
I'm going to go into my handy dandy little cheat sheet here. And when it comes to lungs, one of the main things that happens with lungs is
The other person that had a thing with lungs, listen up.
this is the pneumonia lungs or no?
Pneumonia lungs, yes.
So when we think about the lungs symbolically, it relates to an attunement with the divine flow of life and love. Literally, they are the organs of inspiration. The word breathe means to inspire. So I like to call on Archangel Raphael and ask him to come and stay with me on this, Christina, because it's pretty woo-woo. But literally rub your hands over your lung area and ask, what message do you have for me? The big thing that I'm hearing is you've been denying yourself life. Does that make sense?
Oh, wow.
So where are you denying yourself that freedom to live?
She says, interesting. I got electrical problems in my apartment too. Oh, that's she was replying to that. But yes. Oh.
And I see that she wrote that she started crying profusely.
Yeah, actually hit me when I asked about myself about it. I started crying really profusely, releasing something. Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yes. And yes, Christina, absolutely releasing. And know that when you release it, go ahead and set the intention. You want to release it because you're bringing forth the lessons and the love. So whatever it is that you are learning from this and the love, forgive yourself, because this is not a conscious thing that you said, oh, I want to hold on to this and deny myself this pleasure. Okay. No. So this is, you are learning, you are bringing forth the lessons and the love you have for life, the love God has for you, right? The love you have for everything else. And you're bringing that forth with that lesson, and that's going to reinvigorate you. So yes, you're releasing and you're also healing.
Kourtney, is it in general, if we have body issues, should we put our hands on it and say, what message do you have for me? Or is that like a rule of thumb?
It is, it sounds so corny. And if
I love it.
25 years ago, hey, your knee has a personality, or your house has a personality, right?
Yeah.
Let me go back to selling motorcycles, right? But yeah, and I became very, very aware of it as a young entrepreneur starting off with no money, right? And I would get so stressed in my neck, and my shoulders would just be so tight, and I'd be trying to lie in bed and I couldn't get comfortable. And finally I was like, what is going on? So it wasn't the most gentle, loving way I asked, but I was just fed up. And that's when I started hearing, you are scared of who you are in the world. And we need attention in this. We need to know that you understand, you are scared, but that you know you have support. And later on, when I was doing more healing work, that's when I learned, oh, that's your head and neck is all about how you relate to the world, how you relate to society viewing you. Well, shoot, I was walking around with a target on my back, becoming an angel reader, right? Of course, I had the stress and but yes, finally being asked, saying, what do you need from me? And a lot of it was just that acknowledgement and breath, just breathing in and sending them breath, sending them love, sending them inspiration.
That's beautiful.
Thank you. And thank you for being vulnerable with that too.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people on the line here know they have these really special gifts, but to put it out there in the world and to be so vulnerable as the way you have, you're really living in your truth. And that can be scary though,
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my dad is that generation. And
Yeah.
come on, motorcycle,
Yeah.
sing, that's his background mentality. He could not say angel reader or even anything spiritual without snickering or rolling his eyes.
Oh, bless you.
And it was hard. My only living parent, right?
Right.
It has just been recently that I got, this sounds so materialistic, I got a car that's fast. And he saw it and he went, this is yours? And I said, yeah. And he was like, this car is fast. And I said, well, yeah. I mean, I'm not dead. I love racing. We love racing. And only then did he go, did your business afford you the ability to pay for this? And I said, well, yeah. And he was like, you're doing it. And I was like, well, it's been how many years? And you're just not realizing. And I couldn't just say, I told you so. But for him, that generation, he had to see something material.
Yeah, of course.
Right?
Yes.
He had to see, a motorcycle that proved that it wasn't fake, right? I'm not Miss Cleo or something that, and come on, you can't do this for as long as I have without having that ability, because people will just, throw you into the dirt, even if you do have the ability, right? So yeah. And sometimes our biggest supporters are people we don't even know, and God bless you and thank you, because sometimes the one we're closest to, they don't know how to support us.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that. That's so cool.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of runs the gamut. I mean, I always needed kind of approval from people in general. I've really worked on that. Like, why am I trying to prove myself to everybody else in the world and stuff like that? It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would like to take some more callers, but let's go through the package first.
Yeah.
And then we'll take just a couple more after, maybe one or two. Does that sound like a good idea?
Sounds like a plan to me.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up and share it. Let me just say, I have really been selective in who I've brought on this series. And I really have been selective with even the programs that we offer you guys. This one with Kourtney is quite the exceptional package. And well, a lot of them are, but this one especially, I thought, she's just so amazing. So with that said, here it is. Kourtney, you want to go through all the items?
Yes.
A little bit about, what someone would expect and how they work with you and why. Why do they choose, why do they come to you?
So why work with me?
Yeah.
Because I already love you.
Yes. I just was curious because you talked about how you kind of take people through and how you've worked with different, and I'm sure for your higher level people that work in your world, you've taught them how to do readings in the way that you have and create the space and lots of different things. So yes, tell us about your package.
So in this package, you're going to get some meditations that I got to tell you. When she told me about doing this meditation, Jennifer and I kind of co-collaborated on this, and here's a normal meditation. And she said, great, let's 10x it. Let's give them the very most. And it was like, okay, let's do this. And so it took me some time, and it took me, gosh, probably a couple of weeks to really lean into this and get you a really great meditation. But first off, the 30-minute one-on-one session with me. So it's going to be not just a reading, but we're going to talk about where you are now, where you want to go, what's going to happen, what needs to happen to get you to that highest vibration. A lot of my mentoring clients, so one of my clients is a gold medalist, and she came to me and she said, here's where I am now. I'm stuck. My house is falling apart. I've been forced to live with my daughter, and I want to increase my financial status. And I said, well, Gabriel is telling me you have a book. She said, what do you mean a book? I said, you're writing a book. And she went, no. And I said, well, he's not leaving, and he is saying you're writing a book. And she went, oh, I started a book, 15 years ago. And I said, great, get it out. I will have you know that during this process, we talked about it, and now her book was published November 4th, Hike the Course by Barbara Ann Cochran. If y'all ever want to read it. The publisher even called me and said, would you be willing to write something on the back about her and about the book? Because she credits our interaction, the angels, God, with getting her from where she was to that higher level. And that's what we're going to do with you, because a lot of you need healing. You need that, and healing under the umbrella of maybe there was trauma. And it doesn't mean we have to rehash it, but we do need to be able to say, what could we do differently if we're ever in that situation again, so that our brain doesn't have the same synapses. We create a new wiring so that we can have new options and move forward with it. So that one-on-one session is really, really huge. Bring forth the light and love. Oh my gosh. One of my clients from New Zealand, she said, Kourtney, if I do nothing during the day, if I just hear this, she said, I can conquer anything. So this is an extremely powerful meditation that was divinely guided for me to bring to y'all. And I will tell you, you will notice in it, whenever you hear me speaking, that there is almost a push in it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I sound like I'm being too forceful, but it's just the energy of it, of y'all have these amazing abilities and what you can do. Creating the highest version of yourself with love. This is the meditation that was super huge, right? Is this the one that's, hold on, I apologize, y'all. Okay, so this is the one that's going to unlock the wisdom, align you with the highest version of yourself. So we all have different versions, and they say you have free will. You can choose which version of yourself you're going to bring to the world. I'll tell you, I could be selling motorcycles right now. Not that it would be what I want to do, but if I had to, I could, and I could complete that cycle, that version, that destiny line. But I've chosen to do a higher destiny line, which is bringing forth my gifts to humanity and helping everybody else learn that they have gifts that they can bring forth to help the entire world. And so that's what this meditation is about.
Fabulous.
Kourtney, you nailed it. That's exactly what I was getting at. Because it's so amazing, and I love that you are here for others to get their gifts out to the world too. We all have these really great timelines that we have free will too, so we can play out however we want. But I think that's just amazing. So thank you for bringing that to the audience today.
Yeah,
you're welcome. Thank you for allowing me to share my gifts.
Yeah. So if you want a session with Kourtney, I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat and the meditations.
And I will take the next question.
Great.
Jennifer, we'll have to unmute her, but you are up.
Great. Let me stop the share. And
There you go.
Jennifer. Okay, great. Jennifer, you're up.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for being here. Today, I don't know, today feels like a powerful day. It's also 11:11 where I am right now, and it's my dad's birthday, and I had a dream last night about my dad. I've made my career about helping others and working with children, and yeah, I guess I don't know if I have a specific question, but I'm always reflecting back on how, like, I don't really fit in this world, but how I can still create what I'm creating, if that makes sense. So just continuing to step into my power, and I want to be a homeowner this year, and I don't know, just continuing to expand. So
And you're 27, is that correct?
I'm 30.
Okay, 27 was a pivotal year for you. And you don't have to confirm or deny those allegations. They're not showing me what it was, just that was the age they gave me.
Okay.
And are you aware that you're an animal communicator?
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
As I say that, my dog's looking at me.
They love this energy. I have two little dogs, and if
Aww.
they hear Jen talk too much, they'll jump up on the desk because they love her energy. So you have that natural gift and ability, and that same energy that makes you want to work with children is also that connection with the animals. So know that you are a person who is going to naturally gravitate to those things. And even though you don't feel like maybe Earth is your home or this is your home, know that, and we can go into a long discussion on that, but know that you are here to make a difference. And one of the things that's going to happen with you, Jennifer, is if you try to go against what you are, what's in your heart, what you resonate with, it's going to fail. And it is going to be blocked over and over and over again. When you are in that flow, and like you said, it's a very empowering day, and you feel like you're going to be a homeowner this year, I see that happening for you. Of course, you have free will, and you can go, nope, never going to fill out the application to get the mortgage, right? But as she sits, I do see that happening for you, and realistically, even in July.
Wow.
When I go into that energy for you, if you deny yourself these things that you're being called to do, you're gonna feel blocked. You might even start feeling kind of down, kind of blue. Loneliness will even start to creep in. So if you ever get to that feeling, and this is really for a lot of y'all, if you ever feel that way, stop and say, okay, wait, hold on, what needs to change? What do I need to do differently? Where am I being called? What do I love? What's my passion? And really go down into that heart space and allow it to bloom and expand so that you can be in alignment with that.
Powerful.
Is that helpful, honey?
Yes. And I guess my other question too is I'm in Boulder, Colorado. I think this is the location, but I'm also really drawn to Lyons, which is a little mountain town. And that's one of the places that definitely like sparks me, lights me up.
When I go into this, there are going to be some very specific points on the globe that you are drawn to. And these are going to be, I don't want to say they're places with portals because that can sound a little woo-woo, but this isn't too woo-woo for you, they're saying.
Yeah.
Specific places on like the parallels, like the 34th parallel. And I don't even know if that's a parallel. Okay, it's just coming through. But look and see where it lines up, because these are places that you are going to thrive, and you will continue to do well whenever you're in these points. I also see you doing some traveling, and there is a call to, I'm going to say this is Egypt because I'm seeing pyramids. Does that resonate with you?
Wow. I mean, I know I've only just scratched the surface with travel. So wow, that would definitely make sense, because I always feel so activated by the places I visit. And I did Hawaii this year, and it completely blew me away. So I can't even imagine what other places have in store.
Going to open you up even more of the places you visit.
Wow.
Wow.
That's so cool.
Well, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jennifer. All right, well, with respect to your time, I think we better call it a wrap. My gosh, Kourtney, is there anything that you have that you want to say to the group before we
Any
wrap
parting
up?
words?
Parting words.
Yeah. one of the biggest things, especially from last year, now we're going into a totally different energy this year, but when I ask Michael, what guidance do you have for people right now? It's, you're not alone. And to know that even though you may not physically see us yet, we are there. It's one of the things my students, one of the first things they're like, when am I going to see it? I know that it can be gradual. So know that if you're like looking off in the distance, you're looking against the wall and there's what's called a convection, like the road, when the hot summer day, the asphalt, it gets really hot and you see that kind of wave. So if you see that like against the wall, or you see that in your line of sight, or even out of your peripheral vision, know that those are your angels and guides. Know that those are the benevolent, sentient beings who are around you, helping you. And when they communicate with you, they say the same thought over and over again. Take the umbrella. Take the umbrella. Not take the umbrella because it looks like rain. Okay, that's logic. Not take the umbrella because last time you didn't and it rained and you got soaked and you were miserable. That's your ego. But that repetitive statement over and over again in the present tense. Take the umbrella. Take the umbrella. Take the umbrella. Those are your angels and guides. And by asking them, show yourself to me, come to me, let me know when you're around, touch my nose, touch my shoulder. They want that interaction with you. So know that you're never alone and know that they're always there to help you.
That is fun. Oh my gosh,
It is
it's so fun. Wow, Kourtney, this has been an amazing call. Thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to having you back someday.
Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed it and can't wait to hear the feedback on these meditations, because that one that I did that's new, that was, yeah, Jenna pushed us to the next level. And so I can't wait to hear what y'all think about that for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. My gosh, I really try to push. I just want everyone to have this epic experience, so.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh, it was so brilliant. Oh my gosh, I love this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Leon, thank you for letting me tune into you. I appreciate it. And thank you for letting me be on your show.
Oh my
Yes,
gosh, thank you. This
anytime.
has been so great. Yeah, absolutely. It just, I feel like I want to just give you a big virtual hug, but now I'm like, maybe I'll just drive up to Houston and
Hey.
get a session or two. Fine.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, Kourtney. You have a wonderful day.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
You know the people we love because it's like we don't want to let them go. It's like, all right, it's break time. So
You're welcome to hang out. We are just gonna take a bio break, and but we're still staying live. We're still staying live the whole time. That's the format. So you can hang out, stay on the line. We're gonna have a great show coming up in just a little while at the top of the hour.
You guys, up next at the top of the hour, we've got Dr. Marie Mbouni, and she is an actual doctor that talks plant medicine. She is a shaman and incredibly knowledgeable. I mean, this is going to be, she's talked on platforms with Don Miguel Ruiz and Neil Donald Walsh. So, she talks on those really big stages. So I would love for you all to welcome her in with warm arms, Shaman Marie, when she comes up at the top of the hour. As you might have noticed, I do a little digital marketing, and I had a coaching job where I worked with these 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs. And she was in that group of 6 to 7 figure entrepreneurs. So she's doing quite well for herself. And she's really, really knowledgeable. She's a really, really interesting person too. So I hope you guys, if you are taking a break, I would love if you come back.
You gotta hear
You're going to want to love.
Yeah.
I think that you're going to love this one.
So I'll see you in a second.
Yeah.
Just hang out.
Yeah. While we're, do you need to take a break?
Yes,
It's like,
for-
bye.
for a
Well,
quick
so
second.
you stay here. I'm gonna go. All right, I'll go ahead and talk while you. One of the other things I wanted to mention while you all are, while we're taking break here is that the lounge. If you hadn't noticed, we have a lounge that's opening up, and it does give you priority access to these sessions. So if you like to talk and you want advice during these calls, then you will be chosen among the first people. So I wanted you to be aware of that. I will put that link in the chat as well in just a minute. I also wanted to tell you about a couple things that are happening on this event that I think you just won't want to miss. If you are my age, around 50, and you're having perimenopausal symptoms, we have next week the co-founder of By Winona, and her name is Ashley. She's only 27 years old, and she's really invested in hormone replacement therapy and bioidentical therapy. And she talks about the safety of it. She talks about, really how we know what we need. She'll also talk about how the process works on By Winona, and how, when you sign up, you'll take a quiz and then you'll get a doctor that will actually talk with you. It's sort of like a teledoc, and they'll set you up with what their recommendations are. And I think that, for me, I was just so wanting some support around this, that when I found them, I was just like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. So you guys, the replays, I see on the chat, you're asking about that. Those do come out every single night. And this main stream is on my YouTube channel. Let me put the lounge in the chat real quick. Any other just questions in general? A little bit about me. I'm a hypnotherapist, and I've been really in the arts of high performance and personal growth for about 30 years. I've done, I've studied with Joe Dispenza. I've studied with Dr. Dane here. I've, really gone deep in so many ways. I've been doing these interviews since 2010. And I quit for a little bit in the middle, but I'm back. So just so you know, kind of the background of me, one of the things that I love about this is I really feel that I finally am comfortable being me. And I hope that you're unearthing that and discovering that for you as well. Any questions on the chat? Okay, how long will the package be available? The package will, the packages, they remain available probably through the end of the year. I will do replays and encores. Sometimes the actual videos we will archive. It just gets a little too much sometimes, and I like to highlight the people that are really creating magic in the world, right? I like to, sometimes that somebody will come on and they look really good and they sound really good from an interview I've heard, but then sometimes I'm not really sure that the frequency is evolving. And, now that Leonka's working with me, we'll tap into that. And when, some of the energy is not as vibrant, we do archive those. But I follow the energy through all of this. I mean, that's how I grow my business, is from asking questions, asking, hot hustle, what it wants and what it will bring. And that's really, we just follow the energy on every little step. So there isn't any rhyme or reason which packages might be up, which ones go down. It's really to unearth some of the things. I'm going to sure if I'm doing that thumbs up. Yeah, apparently I am. Well, it's so good just to have some fireworks here. And let's see. I feel like we could do some energy work together. How much time do we have, or should we wait for Leonka to come back? I feel like she's jumping around, moving around. So we've got about 30 minutes here. Let me just take you into a hypnosis state, if we will, because that's the funnest. And then she can join in when she wants to join in. So with that said, so you can kind of sample my work today before we get on. Go ahead and take a deep breath. Let's just start there. Right now, you're going to take 5 deep breaths. Each deep breath is going to relax you. Breathing in deeply now, deeply and slowly. Focusing on the consistent rise of your chest. And hold it for 1 second. And slowly let it out. Just let it be easy and effortlessly. And again, filling your lungs to capacity. And hold. And release. And again, breathing in, 3rd breath in. Hold it. And let it out. And now in this next deep breath, breathing in and activating this frequency of awesomeness. You can tap your wrists together, noticing the sensations of your wrists, bringing in this thrum of awesomeness. And then go ahead and let all that air out, feeling yourself relaxed, feeling loose and light, and becoming aware of how good it feels to be relaxed. And now continue breathing. I'm going to describe a haven to you, and you will picture yourself there. It will be relaxing, and you will enjoy imagining yourself there. So I want you to picture yourself in a luxurious yacht. And you'll imagine in this yacht having all your friends contributing to you. Your feet are bare and you're walking around, checking out the surroundings. And you walk on down to this cute little lounge. And you drop down in this lounge on this couch. And you take another breath in, filling your lungs with the salty, fresh air from the ocean. And you breathe in this salty air, and it relaxes you even deeper. And across the water, you can glimmer out and see the beauty of this world and the mountains in the distance. And as you sit, you relax even more. You make yourself so comfortable in this lounge, on this couch, and you close your eyes. You feel a slight breeze warming your body from head to toe. You wiggle your toes, just feeling so, so good and relaxed. You move back and forth with the water, and it soothes you. And your mind is resting at total ease and peace. And as you focus, you start to focus on relaxing every part of your body. You start with your head, letting any noise and distraction now leave and rest. You move on down through your forehead, softening your forehead, your face, your mouth, your jaw. Any clenching you have in your mouth or your tongue now relaxes you. You move on down, you relax your neck and your shoulders, allowing your head to rest, to rest, to rest. You're feeling light and peaceful, and now moving down your body to your hands, your arms, your fingers, as they rest loosely by your side. And you just feel good being you and being here. Feeling this relaxation moving on down through your back, your torso, letting your muscles loosen and relax, allowing your waist, your hips, and your torso to completely let go of any holding and let it relax. That's right. You feel another slight gust of warm wind sweep around your body in this lounge, and you know that this is a place to be. And as you continue relaxing on deeper through your body, moving down your legs and your thighs, they become so relaxed, you feel like jelly. And the relaxation moves on down to your calves and your ankles, and your toes. And you love this time that you get to take for yourself. You enjoy feeling this way, truly being you, truly feeling peaceful, calmed, centered, and focused. Now you realize that as you're sitting here, refreshed, that you have everything you need. You're in this universe where you can ask and receive. So now, while I'm silent for a minute, what is the question that you need to ask? And as you embrace what you've received from that question. You start to put your feet on the ground. You stand up from this comfortable couch in this lounge, in this yacht. And you start to walk down 10 steps. Down that first step, and you get more and more relaxed. Down that 9th step. You breathe in, just feeling good. Down to the 8th step. Ah, what the peace you have. 7, feel how good it feels to be able to slow down even more. Slowing down, enjoying this process. 6, down another step, so very, very relaxed. Relaxing even more. 5, so very relaxed. 4, down, deeper, deeper, relaxing more and more. 3, down another step, so very relaxed. 2, and now there's one more step. And when you take this next step, you will be at the bottom of the steps, entering the deck of this yacht. And you will be so very relaxed in your mind. 1, and you become totally relaxed. And as you're here, I want you to look out into the vast ocean, knowing you are enough, you are powerful. You can drop now all your worry and your doubt into that ocean. You can focus on your dreams, your wishes, and your desires. You are now living abundantly, just as this abundant ocean. You know success is yours. You see yourself successful with all the wonderful things you deserve in your life. You imagine now that this water is all you need to remember to have all this. And on your quest to being more of you, all you need to do is pull back in this vision of water. Taking another deep breath now. Asking another question if you wish. And now slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Slowly come back to this moment. opening your eyes. And in 3, you will be fully back, awake and refreshed. 1, 2, 3. Open your eyes. I put Leonka to sleep here.
With the tears and everything.
So, welcome back. All right, 18 minutes to the next caller. Who has questions? Who's still falling asleep there?
Thank you for that, Jenna.
Well, I just felt like we might as well do some play in the middle here. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
My gosh. So, with Marie, let's see. Let's look at the chat first. Who wants to chat? Uh-oh. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Earlier, so I figured out how to make fireworks. Check it out. You just have to double thumbs up. Wait, this worked a second ago. What the heck? Oh, here we go. Wait, there we go.
That's fun.
We should find out if there's more gestures in Zoom. All right, will you take over so I can take a quick break too? I've been trying to stay hydrated during this. I find that moves the energy so much better during these events. Did you like that little hypnosis thing? Heard pick up paper and pen and write. Okay, what does that mean to you? Is your name Tina? Yeah, Tina. What does that mean to you? If you are you? Is there something deeper down there? Are you journaling to clear? Are you writing a book? Like, what is it for you? I'd love to hear, right?
And I'm getting that there is message for you. At one time I got, Jeneth have some alone time out at her beach house, and she was actually waiting on something to get fixed that she couldn't get on the internet, and she was like, I guess I'm gonna just relax. And I know her, sometimes she'll put on a meditation. I said, no, I'm really getting a message for you that you need to just be for a little while in your own meditation. And then I begged her, I said, just pick up a pen and a paper, handwrite, pen and paper, because there'll be some messages that you tune into that will come through in that really personally channeled writing. So that was really interesting. And then next thing you know, we're doing this.
She responded, I've been hearing it for years and been holding back.
Yeah, I get that for you too. Believe It's channel. Yes. And there's right now we're in a time where, we're in a time where there are, our archangels, the very benevolent beings that protect us, that want to share more message, but there's just not enough people to do that. So we're really being called to tap into that. We're really being called to do the channeled writing. We're also being called to channel ourselves. I do this through the work that I do, and so there'll be very specific messages that come through for certain individuals. For you, there's a message I'm getting that you're to get a message from your directly for you, and that will come through with your pen and your paper and handwrite. I'm really getting the message that you would probably not want to do it on your computer. This is something that you handwrite. You can pick it up with your computer if you have more to expand on it, but just sit there with it. And this is a good message for all of us, because we can really be the conduit for channel, to provide messages of hope and safety, and those messages that really are to feel secure in some of this place of chaos right now, and that there are there's just a lot more communication that they wish to share with humanity in general. There's just not enough of us willing to raise our hand and do it. And personally, I know that I have really shied away from the work and almost suppressed a part of myself for a very long time, trying to avoid, being called back to share with you today in the way that I'm doing today. Because it's a little daunting. And you heard, like Kourtney said earlier on the line, her father was so far from what she could, from what he could receive for what she does, even for a living, right? How she supports people. And that can be pretty daunting and scary for people. So, but I encourage and challenge all of us to just really lean in and be that for humanity today. Tina writes, years ago, I was going through things and I wrote a 4-page channel message for my partner, Mike, several years ago, and also found a poem I wrote and had never seen it until 4 years after I wrote it. Girlfriend, yes, that's exactly what I was picking up on. So you're going to get, not only are you going to get message for yourself, but you are going to almost be called, and you let me know if this is kind of almost be called to share your message for others. But I think one thing that Kourtney really shared that I thought was really important is that she didn't want to go around town, and chasing people down saying, hey, I got a message for you. This was about really working with the energy and saying, well, Spirit, well, Divine, by angels, you have to bring me the people that are most wanting to receive these messages so that they come and seek you out. I thought that was really powerful, and it very much is how we can orchestrate the work better to guide us and to work with us, so that it's not the struggle and it also is not as confusing or daunting. Thank you for sharing all of that. That was really fascinating. Ooh, she said I'm getting full body chills. Yay! What about automatic writing? Joe, can you expand a little bit about that? What actually, the question more about what I'm getting for you is, so what does that mean for you? Almost like if you need to, remember, we come back to the word, words or codes. So I feel like there's a lot of, look up your words in the dictionary. And also be willing to redefine them in today's, just the way that kind of we brought this into more modern wording and coding, the energy behind it. And what is automatic writing currently defined as? And also, how do you redefine that? How does that support you in your own coding? All of us have our unique signature this is really something that came through in the work that I do. So we all have a logos. We all have our own unique signature words that, and really you can even get those down to about 12. Those are your code words. Those are your power words. Those are the words that take you from where you are on this timeline to a new one. So you can kind of you can really channel that and pull that through, and those will be kind of your guide points for your new, for how you utilize those words to support you for your highest timelines. So again, I'm really getting for you, utilize that dictionary, pull out the old school dictionary or Google them if you want to. But the thing I have to say about Google is watch that, that terminology, because I don't want you to get swayed by the way people are using the word now, because it's very important that the way we use our words have that meaning for us. We can redefine them, but we have to know what they mean first. And so I always say, go back to the old school dictionary. Thank you for sharing that. If you want to expand on that more, you can in the chat. Thanks, Joe. Anybody else have any questions or what's coming up for them that we can tap into, and I can see something for you? And if not, we're okay to be in this quiet space for just a couple more minutes.
Tina just typed in.
And get ready for Tina.
Tina just.
Yeah, no, we already got Tina. Sorry, we get ready for Marie.
Oh, I thought she just typed something. Sorry.
No, we just talked about what she did. She was talking about how, because I told her she had a channeled message, and that she then told me she channels messages for others, and I knew that that was going to be the case for her. So we're really excited because she'll also be able to do that for others. But again, call those people to you. I thought, like I said, I thought what Kourtney shared was really important, that, you know, we're not going around town just like, hey, I got a message for you. That we're really calling those people in to work with them who most want to work with us. Even if that's our friends and our neighbors, sometimes people are only willing to receive what they're ready for. And let those people come naturally to you as well. So let's just take a moment and we'll just be real quiet and kind of
Well,
do
yeah,
peace
or
for a second.
feel free to type in the chat and
Sure.
we'll process them. You know, we'll work with you.
Yeah, we just did. As we clear some space for our next guest.
Yeah. I hear birds.
Mhm. You know, Jennifer, I was listening to Kourtney say, she goes, sometimes I get tired of hearing my own voice. I have that where, especially when
Really?
we do these shows, and I love to talk. Like, that's my highest form of communication. For years, I believe it's probably more writing first, because you love writing.
I
That's not
do.
what I gravitate to naturally. And when I was little, I was always the one that the teacher was like, Martinez, turn around, because that's my maiden name. Turn around, because I was always talking to someone. But it was always fun. Like, my favorite thing to do is laugh. But there are times when we're doing these shows and that I hear my voice too much.
Oh, that's funny. You know, so I had suppressed my laugh until I met my husband.
Really?
Oh, it was
Tell me
so
about that.
interesting.
Yeah.
When you said you like to laugh,
Oh,
because
I
you know,
laugh.
now I'm like, you know, the jokester almost,
How funny.
right?
Yeah, I can't
And
even imagine. I can't imagine.
imagine
I've
it.
worked with you so long that you'd even have that.
Oh my gosh, they would watch like sitcoms at night and they would like snicker, like, you
Uh-huh.
know?
Uh-huh.
And we watch sitcoms now with my husband. And it's like this outroaring laugh,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like this outroaring expression.
Uh-huh.
And I always thought that that was weird that I had suppressed my laugh, you know, that I had kind of like suppressed myself because my parents had. It
Oh.
probably took me about 5 or 6 years with Joe laughing at things
Yeah, he's got
for
a big
me
laugh.
to like actually like go, oh, it's okay,
Oh, interesting.
right?
Now, was
It was
that was
weird.
subconsciously you were doing that? Like, you had no idea that you were doing that
Yeah,
until you were in a different
yeah,
environment. I wonder where there's other areas where we do those things,
yeah,
right? And it's just as simple as joyous as a big laugh. But think about what that does to your physiology, you know, to yourself and how
right.
you put yourself out to the
Yeah,
world as
yeah.
well.
So we do have, Mel says, any messages have about swelling feet?
What are you getting? Anything for the body?
I I think, you
Are
know, my
both of
yoga
them,
days, you
are they
know,
both swelling?
like feet up against the wall, I know helps that. I haven't not, it takes me a minute to go direct more than I think it takes you,
Okay.
right?
Well, because it just lands. Sometimes there are people that
Sometimes it
says,
lands.
so here's what I've got. Where does it feel? Okay. My first question is it both feet and what side of the body? The other thing that comes up for me is I keep getting like a mud feeling, like you're walking in mud because I keep getting like the swelling is so like not physically, but I keep getting an image of heaviness, the thickness, and that's why I keep getting the image of mud. So there's places you might want to explore. There's places where you're not really fully ready to step into. There's like a sludge that's really holding you back, and it's like in a certain specific area, maybe even, I don't know if it's career, that's what came up, but it's really like, oh yeah, it's like something that are going to embark on, and maybe journey,
Journey.
the other word, yes.
Yeah.
But you are, so your body's creating that message for you of almost, again, that sludge, that mud, the thickness around your ankles. So you might want to check and ask your messages too of your body, like Kourtney just showed us. What is that message that you have for me? And maybe with this little bit of quick little bit of facilitation, really looking into, I keep getting, maybe it's something around what, your next journey, but around maybe how you make money. So that might be, and it's something that's like kind of like deep down, you might have explored it once or twice, or you do have it in the back of your mind. That would be something to really look into, or just ask for more message around that, and really touch your ankle. Touch the outside of your ankle. Yep.
Yeah, she said, yeah, trying to decide what career.
Yeah, the career came
Well,
up.
so anything with legs, it seems like if something is slowing you down moving forward or moving forward aligned, I find that often goes to those decision points. Like it's time to pivot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I asked the energy, was it something around relationships per se, but it wasn't necessarily that. And I really did get more around career. Now, there might be some reason and hesitation because of your relationships with other people, but I don't really get that was the full thing was the career thing.
Cool.
And how you make your money.
Hi. Hi, Marie. I'm gonna unmute you, or you unmute you. I'm gonna ask you to unmute. All right.
Hello, ladies.
Hello. Hello.
Hi, beautiful. Hi.
So excited about this conversation. You have no idea. I'm like giddy. Kitty. Okay. Are we ready to start the recording?
Just
Okay.
push your computer back a little bit so we don't get the cord.
Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Let me move this here.
I know
So
sometimes we get.
last thing I need is for a huge voltage. I might get that just from the conversation.
I know it.
Yeah.
All right. And you guys, just keep the chat going. I'm loving this. Keep it related on topic would be helpful though. All right, here you go, Marie. Let me start the recording and we will go. All right. Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. And I'm Jeneth Blackard.
And I'm Leonka Reyna.
And this is the Hot Hustle Show. And today we're talking to Dr. Marie Mbouni, and she is going to enlighten us on plant medicine. I had stumbled across Marie back in 2019 for an interview, and we never ever had a chance to actually get hooked up together. And then after that, I got hooked up in working with her with digital marketing, like a totally different topic. And then we realized that, wow, she would be the perfect guest for this show. And I know very, very little about plant medicine. I've been a little afraid of ayahuasca. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've heard stories and I just don't know that I'm like want to go there. I can go so far out in meditation already that sometimes doing something else is a little chaotic for me to even bring into my realm. But I think that I have heard stories about people even microdosing mushrooms and it cured anxiety, like completely cured it. So I am excited about this conversation. Marie, I know you have a background as a doctor, and that career then led you into this. And I know you also have personal abandonment issues that led you to this. Can you kind of just give us the little glimmer of what brought you to this point?
You don't ask for little, do you?
I want it all.
Here's a little glimmer. So I'm Dr. Marie Mbouni, and really honored to be here with both of you. And so my background, my initial background is allopathic Western medicine as an anesthesiologist. And I did that for 18 years. And my full background is that since I was a child, I had always been, you know, present with spiritual gifts. Like I would almost say, like I was a born channel. You know, I could see, hear, feel things that other people could not. And however, whenever I shared, because I could even read people's mind, and if, let's say, somebody was not telling the truth, I would be like, oh, that's not true. And I would be like, you know, shh, shut up, the elders are talking, what do you know? And so I made it mean that it was something bad, or it was not good, or it was something to hide, right? And then when I went to school, I realized that all other kids were not the same. And up until then, I had developed that belief that in order to belong, I had to be exactly like everybody else. I didn't want to be the weird one or the odd one. And so I hid it even more, completely pushed it down, went, you know, science, biology, math, medical school, what you can prove and touch and is tangible. And as I was working, I started realizing that, you know, I was really cutting off and hiding a big, huge part of myself. And that was the spiritual part, the energetic part of me. And, you know, I always loved meditation. I'm a great meditator. But I was really very careful that no one would know that part of me, because I thought, you know, as a doctor, people would be like, oh my gosh, she's lost it, she's cuckoo. And I was afraid of judgment. And all this worked well. I was hiding really well until 2012. I don't know if people remember or how old people are here. However, 2012 was all about the Mayan calendar ending, and the world is gonna end. But what happened for me was that in 2012, all my gifts came online quite abruptly. And I wasn't even aware until I was at an event, Awesomeness Fest. And it was a consciousness event and then during that event, there was a pool party. And I was at the pool party just walking and having fun. And then all of a sudden, there was a couple coming in front of me, and the guy's ancestors came through me. And they were like, you need to tell this person, you know what, like there was a whole message I had to tell this person. And I kid you not, I didn't know the guy, never met him. And here I am, it's a pool party, full on, and this is happening. And I had no choice but to go to this person. And I was like, I'm so sorry, I don't know you, but I have this message. And I think because it was kind of like a consciousness type of party, like people were kind of conscious. So the guy was like, yeah, sure. But, you know, with an air of like, I don't know what's going on here. But then when I gave him the message, and it was so precise, and the names and the things. The guy broke down in tears and, thanked me. It was like a whole thing. But for me, it was like, this is not okay. I gotta get a handle on this, because this was fine, because it was a pool party. People were kind of, but what if this happens in a place where I can't do this? And that's when, so I started my study, because I wanted to get a handle on these things and wanted to like push it down and control it. It wasn't like, oh, now I'm gonna. And so, I started studying, and I went and sat and really asked for guidance. I was like, what do I need to do? And I was guided to my first teacher, my first shamanic teacher. And I remember there were prerequisites to get into the program. And I just called them and I was like, can I join your program? They're like, but you're a doctor. And you haven't done this and you haven't done that. And I was like, listen, I received the guidance to come here. And boom, it was like I got in the school, in the program. So fast forward, I learned different techniques, shamanic energy, consciousness, sound healing, you name it, yoga. I've even got certified in yoga. And as I fasted forward, I realized that all this studying was still resistance. It was like, oh, maybe if I learn a little more, maybe if I do another certification, maybe if I do this, then I will really be able to. And I really had that awareness, and that's where the call to this work was getting louder and louder and louder. And my own self-awareness, like, wow, I thought I was getting better, but I was even hiding in a very sexy way. Oh wait, but I'm still in training. And so, and as you know, when the universe, the divine self wants, you to work.
I might have to go along with you guys for dinner just so I can stop.
We've got somebody that is okay, there we go.
Yeah. So what happened is I got hit by a 2x4 at my job. There was a
I've had one of those.
Yeah. So like, boom, I was even like there was a threat, not a threat. I don't know how to call it, but it was like, you're gonna be fired. And at that moment, I was like, wow, I've been giving my all to this job, this hospital, and I'm just a cog in a wheel. Like, they don't even care. And at that moment, it's like something in me just let go. Like this hanging on, this, like, it was just like, I'm done. And when I felt like I'm done, I came out in my hospital, came out as spiritual. And like I started bringing crystals in my operating room and essential oils, and I was full on. But guess what? I realized that people already knew that there was something different. The nurses were like, oh, we've been calling you the verbal Xanax behind your back. And I remember the director of surgery had his wife needed an operation. And he called me. He was like, I want you to be the anesthesiologist for my wife. And these were his words. I don't know what you do in your rooms, but people don't die and they wake up fine. And so, I want you to be
Wow.
the
Wow.
anesthesiologist.
Hmm.
When I went to take care of her, I asked her, because at that point I wasn't even putting people to sleep by counting backwards, from 1 to 10. I was just like, would you like to go on a mini journey? Do you want a meditation to fall asleep? Everybody said yes.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said no.
Hmm.
And I asked the same thing to the director's wife, and she was like, yes, yes, yes. And she did fine. It was a very dangerous surgery. And I used like shamanic energetic techniques on her. And when she was done, she wrote a letter to the director of the hospital.
Oh, I got chills.
Hmm.
She was like, this doctor did some metaphysical things on me and it worked really well. And like a letter of recognition and gratitude. And
Hmm.
so all this fear I had up until then about, oh, what if people know? It was just
Yeah.
like
Hiding.
the last barrier just went away.
Wow.
But
Fun.
yeah, from that point, I continued to get these messages, and the last was like, you need to get out of here. You are here to work on many people, not only one person. And that's when I said yes. After that, 2x4 and situations. So, yeah.
Wow. Well, and one of the things that you mentioned that kind of threw me for a little tumble was shamanic healing and energy healing are very different. And I was like, oh, let's talk about that because I hadn't really ever separated the two. And now I want to know what the difference is.
Hmm. Yes, it's both are techniques that use energy, but shamanic healing. If you want to compare that to energy healing, it's a little bit like energy healing uses like a laser beam to work on something, and shamanic healing works like a scalpel where you actually go and like get it out, right? That's like a graphic um, representation of both. Um, Shamanic consciousness, um, like there's such a thing as shamanic consciousness. Energy healing um, actually uses different frequencies, right? It's more like energetic frequencies. Shamanic healing goes in different realms of consciousness: the underworld, the upper world, the middle world. It goes in nature, works with nature, right?
Yeah.
So, although both are very energy based, they just work at different levels of consciousness. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's dive in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that you do these retreats with psychedelics and things like that. Tell, for those of us that haven't gone down that path yet, why don't you start and tell us like what really can happen, especially in healing trauma when it comes to this type work?
Yes.
Yeah, I just
So,
had
For some reason, she just keeps unmuting. I don't know why.
yeah,
I don't think it's for us though.
we are not going to be interrupted. So, the thing about trauma is that it's so different for everyone, right? We have big T traumas, like the things where everybody knows, like it happened. and multi traumas that are less obvious, right? Where it could be something like neglect or abandonment, like we talked about, or things where, you know, injustice, separation, that are less obvious, where it doesn't even look like you were hurt. And so we go around with these wounds. I call them wounds of the soul, right? You know, when it comes to trauma. And then we go around with these wounds, and what happens is our behaviors change. We develop patterns, limitations, limiting beliefs. And, you know, there are a few ways that people typically behave. You know, it's either fight, flight, freeze, fawn, where we start to people please, you know, the people who are our perpetrators, but we don't realize it, right? These are mechanisms that we develop in order to survive.
Mm.
And so, as you both know, the subconscious, the brain, the mind is something that is not easy to access and change. We all know that. And so, what happens with plant medicines is that when we consume them, when we sit with them, because they are intelligent, we call them plant spirit teachers. What happens is they work at the level of the brain, of the mind. They first of all disrupt the default mode network, right? This default mode network in the brain is how we always do the same things, the patterns, the limitations. They work on specific receptors that, you know, can help us access, number one, access what happened, right? I've had so many people who come to my retreats and then they sit with the plant medicine, with ayahuasca, and then they're like, oh my gosh, I was abused when I was 3 years old and I didn't even know, right? We don't know. And sometimes even when we know, we block it because it's too painful. Right? And so it can help you access events. However, it's really intelligence. They are intelligent. They only help you access that when you are ready, right? When you are psychologically, emotionally, energetically ready to be able to face those deep pain or anger or grief or sadness or even shame, right?
Yeah.
And you know, many people, like I remember that one of the things that always really made me have a lot of pain for humanity, for our population, is that there is not one day in my 18 years as an anesthesiologist, I did not see someone in some type of medication against, you know, anxiety, depression. Not one, every day.
Yeah.
People are
It's
on something, like more than 50% of our population is going around with some type of wound of the soul, wound of the heart. And, you know, they are prescribed antidepressants. And for those who know SSRIs, you know, they work on serotonin 1 receptors. And what they do is they just give us passive coping, which is okay, right? It is totally okay. But plant medicines work on serotonin 2A receptors. And these are the source of active coping. And what is active coping? Active coping is a combination of flexibility and plasticity, where things start to mold, and that is the opportunity for transformation. I've had, people that I know who have been in therapy for 10 years, and they still can say, I'm angry at my mother, right? And therapy is great, however, it's just like really when you want to go deep. And when the default mode network is disrupted, what happens is that your ego, that part of you that's attached to survival, becomes less stable, and it starts to become more open to information and repressed memories, right? And that gives us the opportunity to revise our beliefs and our perspectives. And also, it's an opportunity. What happens is the barriers between ourselves and the external world or other realm start to become more blurred. And so it's actually very empowering because we can rewrite our stories.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
So powerful. Well, I'd like to take some questions from the callers. And before I do, Marie, you work with several different plant medicines, or can you talk a little bit about that? Like what specific, and maybe even share like some of the outcomes that happen to people after they've been through an experience with a plant medicine?
So I work with ayahuasca, I work with psilocybin, which is mushrooms, and iboga very rarely, but I was initiated into iboga at the age of 14. So plant medicines call you, right? You don't decide that I'm going to specialize in this. They choose you. They are the, like the
Yeah, we get
initiators.
that.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And then so mushrooms, they told me that they open portals. They are the little grandfathers. I love them so much. And they were, the first plant medicine I sat with. And I had so much healing in I want to say in a gentle, grandfatherly type of, yeah, that way. However, I didn't really at the time access the deepest roots of my I didn't even know that I had any wounds of the soul as well. I just thought, on the outside, I looked amazing, successful, right? Not that you cannot be successful if you have wounds, but then you are not whole. Because for me, healing is about coming into wholeness. And then I sat with grandmother ayahuasca, and that's when I really, I have had so much healing with grandmother ayahuasca. That's when I was really able to go from me, even healing my lineage, healing my ancestors, healing humanity. It's like in some journeys, it would be like in this journey, we are just going to go and work, on what's happening in the world, like child prostitution, and then spiritually, I would be guided to those places and just bring healing. And so it wasn't just me. And she's the one that really helped me heal my deepest wound. My wound of abandonment is about my mother. And I remember one of my journeys. I was there and I was working on that. And then she was like, "Child, I have been your mother all along." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And then she showed me my life at very specific points. Like, remember the choice you made here? Remember when you went this? Remember, she was like, "I was with you all along." Like, I was a child. I didn't know ayahuasca. I had never heard anything about that.
Yeah.
Like, every point of my life. And the way that it heals you is in a way that you can understand, in the way that you can grasp. It's really about repair. It's not about, oh, I had this thing, so now I'm going to go home and fight with this person. And because it's about harmony. It's about coming back into wholeness. The Iboga, when I was initiated, it was because my mother she had cancer. And, I'm from Cameroon originally in Africa, and Iboga grows there. It only grows in 2 countries in the whole world, Cameroon and Gabon. So, yeah, Iboga is another plant medicine. And so when I was 14, my mom got cancer, and she was told that she needed to have surgery, chemo, radiation, the whole thing. And she didn't want to do that. And so she went to sit with Iboga to cure her cancer. But what happened was that she couldn't hear what Iboga was telling her. She couldn't sit well, and she tried a few times. And then Iboga told her that she needed to bring me because I would be the one, who could really understand it. And so that's when Iboga chose me.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't sit with Iboga to like heal anything or elevate my consciousness. It was really because, my mother was in bad shape. And Iboga is like super, super powerful. I remember the first time I sat with Iboga, the first person I saw when the medicine came on was my brother. And my brother had passed away before I was born. So I had never seen him like
Wow. Yeah.
here. Yeah, but he's the one who came to, like, I went straight to the other world, and he came to welcome me. And
That
and
he's probably one of your guides or
yeah,
supports for you.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
Neat.
And so, like, of course, I was completely
Yeah.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, and Iboga was like, you're going to go here, you're going to take the bark of this tree, it has to be boiled this way, and she has to take 5 cups. Like, it was so precise, like all the things that I needed to do. Because Iboga, I haven't talked about this, but every plant medicine kind of shows up in different ways when you are inward in this journey. Iboga is like up in your face, straight answers. It's like a black and white TV with, so it was really like directives, like number 1, number 2, number 3, you're gonna go there, you're gonna turn right, and these herbs have to be mixed with this. And I could remember all of that. And she actually did in fact heal.
Wow.
Yeah. And ayahuasca and psilocybin, like when they come on, there's a lot of fractals and sacred geometry, different realm. Like, many really have the experience of interconnectedness, of the universe, of meeting, source. Some people call it God, Allah, Buddha, the one that is, supreme being. I have been shown the creation of the world. It's insane. It's mind
Yeah,
blowing.
it is cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It makes me want to do it now. You can do it with me.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with meditation, because meditation is like you reach specific uh brain waves, right? And yes, I go far, like, I go to the cosmos, to the stars, but there's it's like with plant medicine, there's this immersive, direct revelation, direct experience where you are one with what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't even know how I can explain that. It's like
Yeah.
you are the
Well, we've
star.
had experiences that we are lacking words for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like ineffable.
Yeah. Well, let's take some callers.
yeah.
Yeah, some questions. We've got a lot on the chat. One person asks, Andrew, will you work with people that are on medicine currently trying to get off?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, so it depends on the type of medicine. If you are on certain things like SSRIs or mood stabilizing medicines like lithium, it actually is better to taper those medicines. Why? Because they work on the same receptors. I was telling you a little bit earlier, and also they can create, they have contraindications. They can create reactions that are not so safe for the client. And if you are on medication, it means that you might have a doctor, a therapist. So I'm advising anyone who is thinking about this to discuss with your medical provider before you just go cold turkey, and because that is not safe either, right? So yeah, you want to work with your provider to taper those medicines so that you can sit with the plant medicines in a safe way.
Yeah. This isn't, I don't know a question, but I think you've got a comment to it. Christine asked, if trauma comes up when one is ready, how come it's many times comes up when you're already worn out, burned out, and exhausted?
Okay, let me see if I understand. So I'm gonna say this, overwhelm, burnout, exhaustion, procrastination, low self-worth, all those actually come from trauma, right? They are like signs of limiting beliefs, right? And so they actually come from trauma. That's why you are like that. And experiencing those states, those mindset can actually be the thing that make you say, enough, I'm going to take care of this. It's the thing that might make you say, you know what, I'm already dying here, so what's the point of ignoring, avoiding, putting my head in the sand? I'm going to dive in, right? That might be the thing, because when you kind of coasting, right, you don't want to do anything. It's like, oh, I'm fine. How many times have you heard this? I'm fine, right? But then when it's like, no, you are not fine, honey, you are not fine, child, then that will give you the courage, because working with our wounds, right, is intense. It requires a lot of courage, because it's like the fear of re-experiencing the things that happened to us that put us in that state in the first place, right? So But I really want you to know that it's only when you are ready that you can really do this. Because the reason we forget is because most times, all the time with trauma, there's dissociation that happens, right? You know, our souls leave our bodies. We are not embodied. And, you know, we forget, we even develop different personas or personalities, or like there's a lot that happens in the brain, and all that is to protect you. It's a little bit like, you know, you have a scaffolding on the thing, right? And then, you know, overwhelm is like one scaffolding, and you know, you can start like your brain, your mind, as you get ready, all these scaffoldings or branches that are holding the thing together, or you think together. You know, it's only when you can hold yourself straight that they can then fall. Because if you can't, if you're not ready to hold yourself, what happens is, if you try to forcefully, you know, take away this scaffolding, you tumble, right? And so even as you work with your traumas, you always want to be gentle, have compassion. It's I call it a journey, right? It's like a journey. It's not a, you know, I want to get rid of it, because that in itself is another way that, you know, we then reject ourselves, right? We you know, we shush ourselves, we judge ourselves, you know. And so, yeah, when you're ready, you'll be able to either find the healer or find the medicine. And it can be something as simple as you even acknowledging that, yes, this happened to me. Because the first thing is, you know, we block everything. It didn't happen. I don't remember. I didn't see it. I wasn't there. Right? Yeah.
Acknowledgement on its own right is a huge tool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What was that?
Because I usually say that it starts with self-awareness, but the second step is acceptance. You cannot heal if you do not accept that something happened to you. It's like, well, if it didn't happen, what are you trying to heal?
Right?
You know what I mean?
Totally. All right. Well, we've got a question from Christina. I'm going to ask you to unmute, and you can go ahead and ask your question of Marie.
Hi, Marie. Thank you very much for taking my call. No, just about the traumas. Thank you for that reply. That was really great. And I have several traumas, and I believe that I've gone through them all, and I worked through them, and I'm very proud of myself. But there's one that's still like on my mind, and I can't really totally leave. You know, I can't really let it go fully, and I don't really know. Why is that still lingering on there? You know, why can I not let it go fully? Is it because, as you say, I didn't accept that it is happened, or why, why is that?
Okay, so when we have traumas, especially early traumas, they live with us for a long time. And we have parts of us that are actually handling this trauma, right? And so this part of you that is handling this trauma thinks that it's protecting you. Okay. And so I said it before, I'm going to say it again. Healing trauma is not getting rid of.
No, I know.
Yeah. And so when you have a part of you that was disassociated, that left. Like, we need to ask permission. You need to ask permission from that part of you. You need to meet that part of you and ask permission to come home, if they are ready, right? And the other reason that you might not be able to let go of it yet is it might be something that even at this point would completely hurt you. And
Mm.
so, because
Yes, it did hurt me. Mm.
yes, it could completely destroy you, and like something that you couldn't even imagine, right?
Yes, correct.
And so healing is not trauma. For me, it's not about knowing exactly blow by blow what happened to you.
Yeah.
For me, it's about really like finding the ways that we can let go.
Yeah, exactly. I totally
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah. And so, like really, if you can, if you hear, chances are you a meditator, or you have
Yeah, I am.
like,
Yeah.
so start to ask to meet the unmet self, the
The what?
abandoned
Sorry?
self.
Abundance. Okay.
Unmet,
Mhm.
like, yeah, the unmet self,
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
the abandoned self,
Mm-hmm.
the rejected self,
Mm-hmm.
the shunned self. So you start to ask to meet them in meditation, and they will show up.
Mm.
And
Okay.
then you will ask them, you will let them know that when they are ready, you are here to welcome them home on their terms, not your terms, right? But
So
you
who
will,
am I asking to meet? Sorry, is that the part of me that was hurt, or the little child, or
I just
what?
told you, the
Yeah. Sorry.
abandoned self,
The
whoever,
abandoned self. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Okay.
unmet
Sorry.
self,
Okay.
right? So whoever they are,
Yeah.
you,
Okay.
they can be the you last year,
Okay.
right? Like, it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a child, because
No. 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 I didn't mean. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
yeah. No, I get it.
Understood.
I get it. So it's a way of, the reason I say it like this is, like, it's a way of opening the field of possibility, so that whomsoever in you, in your soul, was abandoned has a chance to come back home, instead of
Okay.
us saying, oh, I was a child. Well, maybe it was when you were 30 and
Exactly.
something happened, right? You don't know.
Yeah.
So we don't want to limit the possibilities, right? So yeah,
Yeah. Thank you. That was
yeah,
very
they'll
kind.
show up. They'll show up. And there's a whole practice in shamanism called soul retrieval, where we are able to retrieve the lost parts of the soul. That really helps with this.
Someone had, Marie, a question on the chat that I thought was really interesting. It says, have you ever treated someone with plant-based medicine, who responds opposite to traditional medicine? They go on to write, Hannah writes, I tend to respond opposite to traditional medicines, such as supplements make her sleepy and depressants keep her awake. She's interested in the benefits of plant medicine, but just wants to make sure she's the right candidate.
So she's saying that she reacts differently to the traditional medicines,
Like, has
as
an
in,
adverse
if she's
effect.
supposed to be awake, she's asleep, and like
Yes.
things like that.
I have that a little bit too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that is not a contraindication. To me, it's an opportunity to become really curious,
Okay.
right? Because when you are able to approach anything with curiosity, you're able to release attachment. A lot of people who, like in plant medicine, for example, they like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, and they have the whole journey planned in their minds, and boom, it's like you might sleep the whole time because the plant medicine
Control freak. Well, trauma could be control freaky.
exactly.
Like I'm a control freak, so maybe I should do it just to like clear out my controller.
And you know, your controller like has a role in your life, right? And you know, like I have a whole thing that I do with the controller, the inner critic, where you know I take people in shamanic journeys where we start to have agreements, and because they're all here to help us. Like I love the mind, I love the brain, I love all this protection, right? However, what I postulate is how can we live a life of harmony with those parts of ourselves, right? The critic, the control, like that's what it is about. It's not about annihilating them or kicking them to the curb because they've been protecting us all this time, right? So when it comes to plant medicine, getting curious and the plant medicine will, you know, they probably will be able to show you like this is why you react this way, this is why, you know, because when we have traumas, like there's a degree of hypervigilance, right? We don't want to lose control, and most of the times when we don't know exactly what's going to happen, all our defenses come up. Like I don't want to lose control. What's going to happen? You know, who maybe something will happen to me, right? All that fear, that subconscious doubt starts to come online, and that's, you know, where things can be different from what you expected. But yeah, it's not a contraindication. It's an opportunity to explore. I love exploration. I love potential. I love possibilities. And there's nothing to lose because even if you don't have any visions, even if you are awake, because being, you know, in altered states of consciousness, like I say, it's not about getting, you know, blown up into the stratosphere. It's about being here. It's about being present, right? Because the one thing that happens in meditation is like we take off. Like the minute you close your eyes, off you go. And you're not even present. But with plant medicine, it's like you are here doing the work, deep work,
I
right?
get that. The more you talk about it, the more I really get that is the
Yeah.
there.
And so no matter how you react, it's really about, you know, what is the way that the plant medicine will help me in the way that I am? Because no two journeys are the same when it comes to two people or ourselves. I've never had the same journey for years. Never. Never.
Because it always reveals what you need at that time.
Yes, it gives you what you need. You know, I'm gonna really be vulnerable here. So I had a journey where it was with grandmother ayahuasca, and she was working on my brain. She was reformatting my brain, and it was like bzz, bzz, bzz. Like it was kind of like that, right? And I wanted to pee, and I wanted to pee. So I was like, grandmother, I want to pee, and she was like, sit, I'm working, right? Like she was like, sit, I'm working. Then I was like, okay. But then it was like I couldn't. I'm like, I can't hold it. I can't hold it. And then like I literally like peed my pants, right? Not a lot, but just kind of like it happened.
Like I'm telling you, I gotta go.
And then when I peed my pants, she was like, okay, now you can go. And I was wearing
That's funny.
and I was wearing a dress. No, it wasn't funny because I was wearing a dress where, like, you know, when I stood up, people would be like, wait, like, what's going on? Like, right? And so, and then I came back from the restroom, and in shamanism, everything is medicine. Joy is medicine, pain is medicine. Medicine means we can always get healing, wisdom, teachings, right?
Yes.
So I asked grandmother, like, why did you make me pee my pants? She's like, it's about shame. And I was like, shame? What do you mean? I don't think I have. Oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. Because
Oh,
I was like, I knew that, I had some anger that I had worked with and sad, but I was like, shame, I don't really think that I have so much shame. And first of all, she was like, I made you pee your pants because shame is really hidden. Like, if I hadn't done this, nobody would have been able to see that it happened.
uh-huh.
Right? Because a
Right.
lot of the stuff that happened in trauma happens in silence. Nobody knows. Or even when people know, they say it's silent. They don't talk about it. They don't share about it. And then she showed me my life. She, like, when I was a kid, my parents were divorced, which is when my mom left. And she was like, she showed me a scene where there were kids, I was with them, and they were talking about their mommy and their daddies. And I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything because I didn't want them to think that I don't have a mommy and a daddy. And ayahuasca was like, what's that?
Interesting.
It's shame of
Yes.
being different. And so she just showed me like all the spaces and places where I was carrying this shame unconsciously. I didn't know.
Right.
And so she was like, today we are going to heal shame. Whoa. And then after me, it was like my feminine lineage. And then it was like the women of like on earth. Like I was sitting in a pile of shame, like taller than a mountain by the time I was just like surrendered and like, yeah, like this is the shame of the world.
Interesting.
And it started with making me pee my pants. So you actually never know where she's gonna go, right? Like, you never know.
Yeah. Well, and I guess embarrassment is also in there,
Of
right?
course.
Like there's so much with that.
Right.
Yeah.
Layers.
Yeah.
Layers.
Layers.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's
That could also
fascinating.
go back to childhood stuff, where you actually were learning and potty training and all that stuff. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that, although like at that time there was a little, like people couldn't really tell, it was just a little, right? It wasn't like a,
Yeah.
but it was to bring awareness that you don't even know you're carrying all this. And then the feminine and it was like, yeah, and we started doing that work, right? So you never know.
Pretty cool.
That is so cool.
Like the plant medicine use everything.
Yes.
So you might be like, oh, I didn't sleep. Yes, but maybe, something else was happening. And that's where all of a sudden you can unlock, right, your message, your healing, your transformation from that experience.
Yeah. Well, I want to take another caller. We've got Stephanie who's been patiently waiting up here. All right, Stephanie, you're up. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey.
I love your mountains.
Oh, thank you. They're really close to me, and I'm fortunate enough to live in the mountains, so it's beautiful. I have a question. About 7 years ago, I had a DMT experience. I had tried it, and it was just so precious. I learned so much in such a little time. And since then, I felt really called to work with psilocybin to understand more about my ADHD. And I was wondering if what you thought as far as the effectiveness of that. And does ADHD usually manifest from like one of those core soul wounds, or is it more of a stress response and, to our environment?
It's all of that.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, as you know, right? You actually kind of know, where your ADHD might be coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, So, and like I said here, I'm not really interested in knowing exactly why, because why kind of rhymes with wine, right? Not that you're whining, but like why questions to me are not really powerful. It's like what,
Always taking
how, those
Yeah.
types of questions that you are already asking yourself, Stephanie, which is, you already took action, you sat with DMT and you want to go forward. This plant medicine can really help us, right? Um,
Right.
and they can help you, like it could be microdosing is what has been, and it's still being studied, even by the government, the veterans, ADHD, traumatic brain injuries, CPTSD, PTSD. These things are being studied. And so what I would say here is that really hone in your quest, in your willingness to bring healing to yourself, right? Not retaliation, not, mm, yeah, that's how I'm gonna say that. And in your willingness to be open to possibilities, plant medicines really do help a lot. And And the other thing is that for now, what I would like to recommend is, to start to connect to those parts of you that behave that way, right? Those part of you that um, felt like ADHD was the way to deal with whatever happened, and really starting to know those parts of you, starting to accept them, because sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times when we have a diagnosis, we want to reject it, or we react in a way, we are ashamed, embarrassed. It's like, I'm a grown person, how can I have ADHD now? Do I, right? Like all these questions, they are totally normal. But welcoming that part of you, and really being like, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I feel your pain, I feel your sadness, I feel your anger, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is so beautiful. I love that.
Thank
I'm
you.
so ready.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, that's
Awesome.
where we're doing this here. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you for your time, Marie.
You're welcome. You're definitely.
All right, Marie, gosh, this has gone so fast. But you put together a really cool package for us. Oh, I didn't even get to spirit animal stuff, but I did want to share it with the audience, and I would like you to go through it with them and tell them what you're really going to learn. And I think we should also probably talk a little bit about how to have a live experience with you, right? I mean, you do that, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but let's start with so what I prepared for the audience is a multidimensional lineage and generational trauma series. And the way that I did this is I really sat in meditation asking what would be of benefit to the audience. Like, what is it that would benefit everyone that came here today to sit with us? And I shared my own experience of healing where it went from not even aware that I had any trauma to realizing that, wow, there's so much here, right? And so, the first item is multidimensional generational trauma healing journey. It's a shamanic journey that is coupled with consciousness attunement with 7 hertz theta brain waves, right? It's an audio journey. And because when we embark on this journey, we need support of our brain, of our consciousness, so that we may be able to go deep. And it's really about reclaiming yourself, empowering yourself. And also, what people don't know is that we receive trauma from our ancestors, from our lineage, right? And it's been proven through the science of epigenetics that we carry that trauma. So one of the reasons people also don't know they have trauma is because they don't recognize the experience. It's like, wait, this never happened to me, right? But it could have happened to your grandmother, your great grandmother, your mother, right? And so as you do this journey, you're going to start to heal yourself and the generations that are behind you, and are also a part of the journey is to heal the generations in front of you that haven't even come yet. So this is a powerful journey that I recommend everyone to take many, many, many times, because you can't heal everything in one journey. I mean, it's just like, right? So the journey part is like about 30 minutes, and then you have 30 minutes.
Hold on, Marie. We have some noise on the
We had
line.
some feedback. I think it's.
Oh my goodness, it's a leaf blower.
Oh, is that your place? Okay.
Well, I will make
Well,
a
since it's
comment. I'll make a comment on that. I didn't when I got sober about 3.5 years ago. My mother also has been sober for 10 years. And I didn't know at the time, but it was about a year into my sobriety. And sobriety, some people don't know, is really the journey of a spiritual awakening. And as a result of having the spiritual awakening, thus you also are sober. And so one of the words I heard before I even knew, Marie, about lineage and all of this stuff, I heard the words, "You have healed your family." And I thought at the time, I thought that, well, maybe that's my son. I keep him from having to grow up with a mom who was drinking at the time, and I wasn't like full crazy drinking a lot, but it was enough, right? And but really, when I started to understand lineage, I then heard the words, "No, you have healed this for your lineage," and I really took that as a future lineage. And so now when you're talking about this today, it gets me really, I am excited to even, embark in the journey for other things that can be healed. So that's just so powerful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yep.
hopefully your leaf blower is gone. You can continue
Right.
now.
Let's see if is it a little better? It's
Yeah,
kind
it's a way better.
But
They
we
must
just
have
wanted
been
to-
right near you.
Yeah.
They did the leaf there.
It's the whole driveway.
It's
Yeah.
They've got this little tree for the multi-generational healing too, and the
That's
leaves. It's all leaves.
Yeah, and oh, I think it's gonna be tough. The next item that I have for you is shamanic soul and destiny retrieval to free yourself from the bonds of hopelessness, right? I touched a little bit upon it, where we lose parts of ourselves, we lose, parts of our soul, we disassociate. And also with trauma, what happens is we really lose our destiny, our potential, because we are dealing with all the after effect of the trauma, right? And so with this journey, it's really like my intention is that you can start to reclaim your destiny. You can start to bring back, your soul, right, to yourself. It's a journey of empowerment. It's really a powerful, powerful journey. I love it myself.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
And then we've got number 3.
The shamanic art of psychic self-defense. And so, everybody here, I'm sure, you have been in a place or with a person, and then you go home and you're just drained. And you don't even know why. Right? Or you don't feel right. It's because, we live in a world of energy. And when we are not in a place where we can really be in sovereignty, in self-authorship, what happens is that our energy field can be, I don't want to use the word attack, but it can, lose its coherence. Not necessarily even because people are doing it to you, but just being in an environment that is, not coherent can make you go into those places where you lose your center, you lose yourself, or you start to take on other people's stuff, right?
Yes.
And so there's a full, shamanic way to really protect your energy field. And I created this journey called Shamanic Harmonic Bioshield, where I'm using the principles of energy healing, shamanic healing, consciousness technology to really teach you the definite way to protect your energy field. And it has alpha brain waves and isochronic tones to really start to entrain your brain to believe that. Because I think everybody here kind of knows, about protecting your energy, Everybody knows, but either we're not doing it or what we're doing doesn't work, right? And so this is like the definite way to do that, where you're going to be able to actually have a shield installed around you that you can call upon when you need it if you forget. It's really, really powerful.
It's interesting because I did work with people that were basically like, you're an infinite being. Why would you need any shielding? And I kind of just sat with that for a little while and, really thought, well, I guess it's like a one-off, one thing at a time, right? If I feel, like my energy just drops, there are things to do about that, right? But I've always been kind of like, I don't need to be shielded necessarily, but I do know when I am, I do better. I mean, so it's a real, I mean, I think that's great.
It
that
also depends if
Go ahead.
somebody is willing to accept that they're an infant being.
Yeah,
So
well, that too,
yeah.
right? Because I
Yeah.
don't think people actually acknowledge that they are an infinite being.
I want to really go with that. So being an infinite being means that, you are sovereign, right?
Yeah.
And if you notice, this is not a like protection, like, oh, I'm afraid somebody's gonna get me. This is a sovereign way of saying, this is my territory.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is my home. This is my bedroom. Imagine if somebody, comes to your house and then they just go to your bedroom and lift the sheets and sit in your bed with their, like, would you allow that?
You're like, ew.
Exactly. So why would you allow that on your consciousness or your energy?
That's a great way to put it.
That's great. Yes.
I actually went through the PDF. I think that might be next coming up. Yes. I was like, okay, so there's a PDF at it's like 12 or 14 pages. And I was like, what is this? And I really loved how you put things in the PDF. And the way you explain it, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what this is about. This is, even if we are infinite beings, even if we live in the cosmos, our home is called Earth. Our home is not called infinite.
Correct. Absolutely.
Right? Exactly. So this is not a journey of fear. This is like, no, I am sovereign. This is my home. This is my place. This is what I decide to do my energy with my energy. I'm not here just to, let my energy be sucked by, anyone because they're not feeling good today.
Yes.
Because I have things to do.
Right?
I have a life to live. I'm not just, so that's like the spirit that and the intention that went through designing this. And, I really hope that, you get this, because like this shield is with different energies, star consciousness, the different rays that have specific frequencies and properties, right? That can help you. And the energy of love, the energy of the earth, the abundance of Pachamama, this cornucopia, right? That is here to support us and ground us. Because a lot of, us spiritual people, we're not grounded. We're off into the ethers. And it's like life is happening here on earth, right? Yes.
Absolutely. All right, we talked a little bit about number 4. You want to go on to number 5?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I love this one. Like my transformational technology is actually love. Love is what I use. And all the other stuff is accessory. Energy healing, plant medicine, like the basis, the core of it is love. And, when I was starting this work, it was like, I really hope that everyone, like people don't go around without ever feeling love, because that's what we crave. That's the thing that we crave. And so many times after, plant medicine journeys, I ask people, what did you discover? And people are like, I discovered that I didn't love myself. And so this item number 5 is a galactic journey into the planet Venus. And the planet Venus is really about awakening and embodying the infinite possibilities that we find, in the consciousness of Venus, which is, the goddess of love, of wisdom, of unity. This is a sacred quest. This is, it's almost like opening the door for yourself to enter, in the majesty of love, in the discovery of the parts of you that have been seeking, wanting, craving love, and saying, yes, there's a whole planet with love. Because sometimes, the thing about love is we don't even believe that it's possible, right? Or when it's people, it's like, how can this person love me? Is that possible? So I took away the interpersonal journey of love and made it galactic, so that we can start to reprogram our energy, our brains, to even believe that love is possible and it is abundant and we can have it here. Love heals. it has been proven scientifically. And, when you have a wound that is due to love, like a broken heart, there's actually something called broken heart syndrome or broken heart cardiomyopathy or Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. It was discovered in Japan, where there was a big thing that happened and a lot of women became widows and they lost their husband and they were all showing up as if they're having a heart attack. But it wasn't a heart attack because they didn't have the markers that you normally have. And it was like, what happened? And then they started to see that their hearts were shaped in a certain way. And it's like their heart were just like giving up, right? And the only thing they had in common was that they were brokenhearted. So love is serious business.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
think my dad he started really, really pining for my mom, and then he died just one afternoon. Yeah, he died just one afternoon of a massive heart attack, like that. And he was like up walking 3 miles a day and like all these, but he was in this like pining, heartbroken mode, and it was sad to see him like could go transfer to the other side because that was my second parent. But my gosh, I really felt like he just,
He was
died of a
ready.
broken heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Those are
so this
Interesting.
is really important journey for all of us.
Yeah, journey of love.
Yeah.
Right. We're making it through, guys.
And the next journey is about peace and tranquility to release overwhelm. It actually, we talked about it on the show. One of the participants in the audience asked about overwhelm. One of the things that shows up in trauma is that we have a lot of overwhelm, and that leads to procrastination, even apathy, where we even give up, right? And there's so much mind chatter. We're not able to do anything. And, a lot of anxiety and stress. And I was like, if I could create a journey where, when people go on it, they can have a pocket of peace, they can release overwhelm so that they can then restart their lives with, this expansion where maybe they start to feel like they can breathe, right? Rest is where healing happens. Even in our normal physiology, it's only when you go to sleep that your body starts the cellular repairs that needs to be done. Or when you work out is when you rest that your muscles recover. So we also need
That's
that.
also, I always thought when you go into those deeper brainwave states, when you rest as well, that gives your body a chance to recover and
Absolutely.
heal. So fabulous. And then there's a companion PDF to that.
Mm-hmm. And the last one is what I call From Shame to Self-Love with Alpha Bliss Brainwaves. So this journey,
Ooh.
Sounds
You
yummy.
know what? I'm downloading this package and I'm listening tonight.
so this journey really, I mean, I told everybody here about my journey and with shame and everything. And shame is something that we don't know we have, or that is silent, and that can prevent us, from loving ourselves, from appreciating ourselves, and from, receiving love. And so, this journey is really about reformatting your brain. The beginning of the journey is you're not going to hear any words. It's just going to be this brain waves kind of working, and then I'm going to come in and with like subliminal affirmations about self-love to reprogram your brain. You don't need headphones, but yeah, it's really about that.
Beautiful.
It sounds beautiful.
Wow. You've outdone this. My
Yeah.
gosh. And then there's a There's
spirit animals.
Yeah, well, I wanted the spirit animals from our pre-conversation. I
That's
was kind of
right.
hoping we'd go into that.
Yes.
So I asked specifically for that.
Yeah. So discover your spirit animal is something that I really invite you, in shamanism and even energy healing. There are different types of guides, right? And some of those guides are, the consciousness of and the properties of certain animals that either we want to embody or that are gifted to us or that we invite, unconsciously or subconsciously. And this journey is a beautiful journey in nature where you are going to actually discover your spirit animal, one of them anyway. And it's really beautiful. And then as you discover, you're going to be able to go through a conversation, a navigation of interaction with that power animal so that you can receive wisdom, teachings. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, there's more. And wait.
And wait. Yes,
and it's 111.
Of course.
Yeah.
We have
So
this
this is,
repeating number thing.
101 journaling prompts for compassionate self-inquiry
neat.
and healing, right? Because the reason I add journaling here is, not everybody is we all sense, perceive, and receive information in different ways, right? Some people are very visual, auditory, some people have a knowing, and some people are more, they want to write, they want to really process. And for those who are like that, I have 111 prompts where you can, in a compassionate way, really go into your inner healing. It's like at your own pace, right? You can have time to process in between journaling sessions. Sometimes an audio is like I'm guiding you and it's like, oh, wait, I wanted to stay there, but now I have to go on here. Yeah.
I know that I asked for a lot, but
These are bonus interviews that I had in the past for those who are interested to listen more about me. They're not really like created, but like great conversations.
Topic.
Yeah, with like podcasts and the Shift Network Summit.
Thank you.
yeah,
That's it.
Oh,
and it
yay.
is a $97 offer that should be showing up on the button there. Yeah, it does go. I was like, let's just make sure that button works. I'll change that, you guys. But yeah, wow.
Very phenomenal. Thank you. I just speaking with you, I already feel the shifts because of the energy that you are. Yeah,
you be this.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very clear. Some speakers, just talk it, and there's others that just are it.
Very embodied.
And
yes.
You're so embodied in that way, and it's really beautiful. I mean, somebody said on the feed earlier, and I wanted to say the exact same thing. I could listen to Marie all day.
And that's because she's embodied that
That's
way.
because, she makes us really present. Doesn't matter what she says, she just bees it.
Yeah, I can
And I just thank you for being it. I feel like sometimes I fall in and out of being. What happened to our camera here? Hey, come back.
All good. I think we're probably
You
gonna
better
wrap
wrap anyway. There we are.
Oh, we're frozen, but that's okay.
I'm frozen like this. Let me grab my computer.
At least it's a great image of, Queen's image. Sometimes they can be
yes,
like
not cute.
And nobody even saw that face I made. Thank you so much, Marie. Thank you guys for being a part of the feed. And wow, Marie. And
if you are looking for the link on the replay, you can find it on YouTube in the caption, and you can find it on our main replay page. It's somewhere on that page.
Thank you so much.
Wow, what an amazing day. And I'd love to hear some of your takeaways in the chat.
Or you can write us too.
Or you can email us.
Yes, I always love hearing those, and we share those. And for anyone that writes in their comments to us, we'll be doing some drawings next week. So to get entered for those drawings, be sure to send us your messages. We want to know. It's a team@hauthustle. Wait, it's spelled here. .com.
I'll spell it in the chat.
team@hauthustle.com. So thank y'all for joining us. Go ahead, sorry, okay, you go.
No, I'm done. So next week we'll be back Monday through Thursday, same time, same place. So have a great weekend. Happy listening to all the replays of this week. And Maria, it's just an honor to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. And it's just been an honor. And it's been great to interact with the audience live. Yeah. Thank you, Lianka.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're officially unrecorded and out.
That will end up on the web anyway.
I know, that'll end up on the web anyway. So.
Yeah.
But gosh, Marie, that was so good. Thank you.
Yeah, you liked it?
Yes. Yeah, I just kind of feel so present. And so tonight, let's not talk too loud though. Tonight's my daughter turns 18 on tomorrow. And so today we're going to the Carvana vending machine, and she gets a little coin that she gets into a slot, and the car comes down in the Carvana vending machine. And that's like her big birthday gift this year. I also got this big bow from Amazon. So I hope to share some of that on Instagram tonight. Some of the behind the scenes of my life.
It's a big year.
Yeah.
Oh, your baby's cute. I mean, I remember.
Can you believe my little baby is?
Yes.
My youngest is 18.
Wow.
She used to come hang out, and she'd always give me these big hugs, and she was like little girl. Yeah. And now she's all grown. She's
Now
still
she's
fun.
all
She's
grown.
still she's still like she still lets
got
me love
to-
on her.
Yeah.
Yeah. She likes ghosts.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I think she falls along this line of ghostiness. We froze again. We froze cute though.
Yeah, good.
Oh, there's somebody who's asking about how do they
They
get
bought the package. You guys, I will email it to you. I have to fulfill the order for it to actually come through to you, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, good. Joe said that he changed his mind about plant medicine, felt it might be dangerous, but not so anymore. I'm glad that you're able to facilitate that for us as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
feel the same way. I kind of want to do a journey with Marie at some point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Doesn't that sound fun?
yeah. Well, we're still frozen, so I guess we'll
Yeah.
sign off.
All right. Bye, Marie.
guys.
Talk soon.